Minister Dean McPherson is today expected to release more information about the collapse of a temple building in KwaZulu-Natal. The 4-story structure in Redcliffe caved in last Friday, claiming 5 lives. The eThekwini municipality says preliminary reports indicate that the construction of the site was illegal because it had no approved building plans. Minister McPherson will release the outcomes of the preliminary investigation by the Council of the Built Environment. President Ramaphosa has encouraged for former battle and war sites in KwaZulu-Natal to be used for economic development and tourism growth. Ramaphosa delivered the keynote address on Reconciliation Day at the Ngome Museum in Ngutu, northern KwaZulu-Natal. The area is known for the Battle of Blood River between the Zulu Kingdom and Afrikaners in 1838. Shamila Batohi reports.
The Day of Reconciliation in South Africa coincides with the deadly Battle of Ngome, better known as the Blood River War, where Zulu regiments went loggerheads with Afrikaners in December 1838. And nearly 200 years later, this day is now commemorated by boat races after years of separate observations. President Cyril Ramaphosa, who has since praised the actual reconciliation among the two groups, says the battle site must be used for the benefit of the country's economy.
We must tackle stubbornly high youth unemployment in a different way. Young people should not have to cast their eyes to big cities for better opportunities. Jobs must be created in our rural towns and villages. This is a place that should attract travelers from near and far. It is the youth of this area who should be welcoming, accommodating, and feeding the visitors who come here.
Ramaphosa believes this will tackle poverty and unemployment in rural communities. Shamila Batohi, Eyewitness News, Ngutu.
And U.S. President Donald Trump has expanded a travel ban by barring people from 7 more countries, including Syria, as well as Palestinian Authority passport holders from entering the U.S. The latest move brings to nearly 40 the number of countries whose citizens face restrictions in coming to the U.S. solely by virtue of nationality, with Trump also tightening rules for routine travel from Western nations. Trump has also all but ended refugee admissions, with the United States now only accepting South Africans from the white Afrikaner minority based on false claims of a genocide. Gold is trading at $4,339.46 an ounce. The rand is at 16.75 to the dollar, 22.42 to the pound, 19.64 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $59.77 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got some delays on the M2 West between the Crown Interchange and Main Reef Road. Speaking of Main Reef Road, there's also queuing traffic towards Crownwood Road. Please be on the lookout there. While traveling in 4 ways, we've got delays on Winnie Mandela Drive just as you approach the N1 exit. Please be on the lookout there.
A fine day in store for Gauteng, becoming cloudy later with scattered showers and thunder showers expected. The temperatures will peak at highs between 25 and 27 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour: the charred bodies of 2 people have been recovered from an apartment in Albertton on the East Rand.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
You're with Clement Manyathela
On 702.
Let's Walk the Talk, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app,
DSTV channel 856,
92.7 and 106 FM.
6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Dumelang, welcome to the Wednesday edition of the Clement Manyathela Show. It's great to be with you, and it's great for you to be with us here on 702 on the 17th day of December. All strength to all of you if you're still hard at work, like us this week and beyond. And lucky you if you're already on leave and taking a break and taking things easy. So wherever you're listening from, I hope you're well this morning. We start the show with the 702 open line on 011-883-0702. That's the number to dial to share your views on the 702 open line this morning. The WhatsApp line is 702 1702. How shocking and scary is the murder of DJ Waras, eh? He was killed yesterday in the Johannesburg CBD. Reports suggest that he was assisting with the enforcement of a court order. In fact, it's a court-ordered eviction against illegal tenants in a hijacked building. So condolences, first of all, to his family and his friends. I mean, this is someone who never shied away from speaking his mind, no matter how, quote-unquote, controversial those views may be. And I respected him for that. He often took me on to challenge my views that I raise on the radio. I mean, if he disagreed with something, he will send me a long voice note stating his point and challenging my view. But what a lovely chap. May his soul rest in peace. I couldn't help but think, how safe do we think we are from criminal networks? Like, why is it so easy to kill people execution style in this country? The police are now looking into the work that he did with his security company, rescuing these hijacked buildings in the inner city. And chances are there are people who didn't want to see what he was doing through his company, which is why I'm asking about these criminal networks. It just feels like we are continuously victims of these criminal networks. So how do we then ever do the right thing? If doing the right thing can be at odds with the people who are doing the wrong thing, to a point that they want to take you out, they want to kill you. How do we save the inner city, to use this example? If there are criminal networks out there that depend on the city's dilapidation and collapse, how do we save it? Because anyone who tries to mess up with what benefits these criminal networks clearly is in danger. This is our reality, and it's sad. Let me know what your reflections are following the murder of DJ Waras. Give us a call or send a WhatsApp voice note. What do you think also of what happened at the Nkambinde inquiry on Monday, when the head of the NPA, Advocate Shamila Batohi, decided to leave the inquiry and not come back without even informing the chairperson or putting it on record, the application to hold her cross-examination? Listen to this interaction between her and the commissioners on Monday.
Decision to decide not to continue.
But Advocate Batohi, you cannot say it's voluntary, because the whole trigger for this inquiry is your referral to the president in terms of a certain section of a statute that governs you. So we are here because of an act of parliament.
Understood.
We are not just here as a kangaroo court where one can say, no, I'm not going to participate, I've heard it, and. But we are here because you took time to write a letter to the president and referred the conduct or whatever of Advocate Chauke. And the president then constituted this inquiry. And you came here to testify, to give your side of why we are here. So if you feel I don't want to be here, I'm walking out, doesn't that border on being disrespectful to this panel?
I didn't intend to be disrespectful, and I'm not walking out. All I'm saying is that I'm not prepared to continue testimony at this point, pending getting legal advice.
Advocate Batohi, when we adjourned for lunch, you did not request to be excused. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And you were expected to come back after lunch like any other party that is here and participating in this inquiry.
That's correct.
And you then decided to inform the representatives of NPA that are present here that you are not coming back.
That's correct.
And true to what you had requested.
Okay, yeah, I think we get the gist, Abel. But oh my goodness. And then things escalated. Listen to this.
Chairperson, I will not be shouted at here. I'm trying really to help.
You have been totally disrespectful to everybody here.
Well, I apologize then,
and
Chairperson.
we have been so patient with you, disrespecting almost everybody. And this has gone into the record. We've been so patient with you.
It's not the sense I get, but it's fine.
Well, the record will speak for itself.
Indeed.
It has spoken for itself. And today, you decided to be totally disrespectful to this hearing.
That was not my
Not
intention.
only to us, but to everybody here.
That was not my intention, Chairperson.
Well, everything has always been that not being your intention. But the fact speaks for itself. You've been disrespectful.
Yeah. What is going on with Advocate Batohi, guys? I mean, her behavior, her posture at this inquiry has left a lot to be desired. And I'm not even talking about the merits of the case, right? Because that's an entirely different matter. Because it doesn't appear like there's actually a strong case here against Advocate Chauke. Well, at least from the cross-examination, she has made so many concessions. In fact, our colleague Khomotso Modise said the other day that it almost appears like this is an inquiry into Advocate Batohi's fitness to hold office and not Chauke's. It's extraordinary what's been going on at the Nkabinde inquiry. What do you think is at play here? Because it almost appears, at least to me, like there are personal issues here. Maybe there are personal issues at play. I know someone or some people feel like the chairperson of the inquiry has overstepped and also become emotional and disrespectful towards Batohi. But other people feel like the chair was pushed to that point by Batohi herself. I haven't really watched the chair long enough to make a conclusive statement on her behavior. I mean, I started paying attention to the inquiry when tensions were already high. But what do you think? You can call me or send me a WhatsApp voice note to share your thoughts, please. Between 10 and 11 o'clock, we're going to be in conversation with the Border Management Authority. The CEO is Dr. Mike Masiapato. We'll talk about how ready the BMA is for the festive season, given the anticipated surge in traveler volumes across the ports of entry. But I'm also interested in the number of illegal entries they've managed to intercept. About 8,000 so far of illegal entry attempts were intercepted during the festive season as part of the festive season crackdown. So we'll chat about that and how they have strengthened their systems this year. At 11 o'clock, we're going to do our Listener's Choice feature. Today, we're discussing the scams and fraud to look out for this festive season. And then we wrap up the show at 11:30 with the Sharing Space. That's the show coming up over the next 3 hours.
Clement Manyathela, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Good morning, Clement and 702. This is Yolanda from Centurion. You asked how are people supposed to fight against these criminals if doing the right thing ends you up dead. Well, South Africa fought against apartheid. Apartheid was literally criminal, and they managed to win over apartheid together by saying enough is enough. If we're going to continue being on our cell phones, complaining, tweeting, reacting, and then sitting down, reacting, and then sitting down, all going uproar, and then all of a sudden after 3 days everything calms down, and back to normal. Things will never change. South Africa will continue deteriorating. We need to be decisive, and we need to be determined to stop these criminal syndicates, because they are free, because South Africa has become desensitized to these criminal activities.
Hey, morning, Clem, Aubrey and Fosnoras. Clement, the issue of Waras, it's very sad. Ne? What puzzles me the most, Clement, it's our law enforcers. Remember, we are under Ramaphosa. Ne? We once saw how a lockdown works. After the effect, or after the fact, the shooting, maybe an hour later, Clement, there was supposed to be a lockdown of the whole of Joburg. We have Amapanyazas who can patrol. We have even police who can call even the soldiers to reinforce. But we have never seen that happening. So I don't know what really to say. Is it, I don't know, Clement. I'm just shocked. I'm very much shocked, but I'm very disappointed. As I'm saying, Joburg was supposed to be at least the last of the whole of last night. Joburg was supposed to be under lockdown. Not easy to enter, not easy to go out. But what can we say? We are in South Africa. Thank you, Clement.
Morning, Clement. Hope you're well. Morning to the people there in the studio as well. I just want to start by saying rest in peace, Waras. Rest in peace, Warwick. I knew him vaguely. Was always a great guy. To answer your question, Clement, as to how people get killed so easily, execution style in South Africa, you need to ask yourself what's going to happen to that guy that shot him, or those guys that shot him. Let's ask ourselves realistically, what's going to happen to these guys? They're probably going to get arrested. They'll get out on like 1,000, 2,000 rand bail while the trial bumbles on for like a year or two. And then when they finally get convicted, they'll get life with parole, which means they're out in like 12 to 15 years. So like if we look at it from a consequence management standpoint, catching a body in South Africa is like kind of easy, and there's no real consequences behind it. So that's why people can just do it.
Morning, Clement. I am so shocked and saddened by the death of DJ Waras. Like I normally do my hair by the salon closer to where this whole thing happened. And I actually went to go and do my hair on the 15th because I thought it was going to be busy on the 16th. But it's so strange because most of the time when I used to see him, he would walk with these big puff guys. I'm just wondering where was his security people? And also, they shot him in a very busy street. Kuri, these people, abatabiniks. It is so busy in town. There's cameras everywhere. There's JMPD everywhere. This is so sad. And I'm so shocked. RIP to him. We will miss his views on Twitter. And justice to DJ Waras.
Oh, man. But I think that's how brazen criminals are. But in any country, if you are losing the fight, if criminals are really the ones that are calling the shots in some instances, that's exactly how you're going to have criminals behave. Because criminals are not scared of taking the police on. They're not. And either that's because they see the weaknesses in our policing systems, or that's because they know that there's protection for them. They know that they can just come and kill someone because, yes, people may be arrested here and there, but the kingpin, the person who ordered the hit, is never going to be found. Or if the person is found, there's not going to be a proper investigation against them. The docket is going to disappear, or the case is going to fall off the cracks. That's the country we live in. That is scary. We cannot continuously fall victim to the criminal networks. That is exactly what we are experiencing. So how safe do you think we are from these criminal networks? Why is it so easy? Why do you think it's so easy for someone in the inner CBD? You go and execute someone like that? That must be because you know that the police are not going to do their job, or you know that they're too weak to get you, or you know that they're probably the person who called the hit is fine, because if the person gets caught, they're not going to be arrested because they're going to be protected by some corrupt cops. I'm just worried that we're getting to a point where people who need to do the right thing will not do that anymore. Whether it's a good cause, in this case, let's say you're cleaning out these buildings, hijacked buildings, whether it's your work as an auditor, as an investigator, maybe as an investigative journalist, maybe as a broadcaster who shares their views. People are going to be scared to say what they want to say, or to do the right thing, or to do that's just their jobs, because they live in a country where it's just going to be messy when you do. That is not cool. We cannot allow the criminal networks to run amok like that. But then again, what do you do when the very same SAPS is in a mess itself? The level of corruption and infiltration that's been exposed so far, the level of infighting in the SAPS that's been exposed so far, who do you think is on our corner as South Africans? They're busy fighting each other there. On the WhatsApp line, Shafiq says, "Hi Clement, one can understand Shamila Batohi's frustration at the inquiry. She had been answering questions for over 3 weeks. It almost comes across as if there is an intention to embarrass her. She's had enough, and that's understandable." Well, unfortunately, or fortunately, that's the nature of cross-examination, hey? If you think cross-examination is you being on a luncheon with friends, you're mistaken. Cross-examination is supposed to break you. It's supposed to question every single thing that you put up on the table. The very essence of your claims, they come under the microscope and test during cross-examination. So I get it. Cross-examination is supposed to be brutal. But we like it when it's brutal against people we don't like. Like if I asked you about Julius Mkonazi or Senzo Mkunu being cross-examined at the Madlanga, you were probably praising that. Now Advocate Ngugai Tobi cross-examines someone you may like more, then that is a bit problematic. That's what cross-examination is supposed to be. If you've listened to the responses that Advocate Batohi has given to the inquiry, shocking. She doesn't remember certain things. She doesn't know the terms of reference for the inquiry. She hasn't read certain things that are in her emails. She had to be given, she was asked, do you need time to go read the terms of reference? I mean, are you kidding me? The very reason that this inquiry exists is because you made motivation to the president, and the president decided to act on that. You've got to be able to defend it at the very least. And I don't think she's done that successfully. And I don't have an issue with Advocate Batohi or anything. But I'm really disappointed in her behavior at the inquiry. I really am. And that's why I'm saying I haven't even touched on the issue of the merits of the case. Just look at her posture. Look at how she was so nonchalant about things that are crucial. I mean, there was a time when her and the chairperson were going forth and forth because she tried to claim that the chairperson of the inquiry somehow agreed that she would not be cross-examined. And the chairperson says, stop misrepresenting what I said to you. Stop misrepresenting me. See, things like that, and you think, this is not okay. But then again, I want to open my mind up to what other people are also trying to make me see. There are other people who are saying that it looks like there's a personal vendetta here because the way the chair has been losing patience with her is also unacceptable. And I'm saying, I hear you. I haven't watched the chair from the beginning to be able to make that conclusive statement. I only started really following the proceedings because I've been stuck with the parliamentary inquiry and the Madlanga Commission. I only started following the inquiry when the tensions were already high. But some of you have watched from the beginning. Maybe you've seen that the chair has been impatient with her from the onset. I don't know. And if that's the case, the chair must also be called out because her very job is to try and calm situations, isn't it? You've got to be the bigger person. Isn't that what Madlanga would do? Isn't that what Justice Zondo did with state capture? Isn't that what I can mention other chairs of inquiries? But I'm saying that is a perception of other people, but I respect it. I haven't observed that yet because I haven't seen the chair from the beginning. But if that's the case, I think she must also be called out. But what we have seen there, that's not cool. Oven, You're calling us from Roodepoort. What are your thoughts? Good morning.
Hi, my favorite person. How are you?
Hello,
I'm well,
okay,
thank you. But
favorite person.
working during the holidays, all of us. I've got points to make on two of your questions. Your first question about the head of the NPA boss, Shame. I feel sorry for her because from day one she was out of her depth, and that speaks to the processes that elected her. Those people that elected her should be held accountable here. She's been out of her depth from day one. And I'm just a person that sits and listens to you the whole day. And from all the things that you've been speaking from whenever she was appointed, there's never been a one moment where we clapped hands for her. The other thing I want to point to is that the very existence of the Madlanga Commission, it points to South Africa having no rule of law. It's a fertile ground for criminals. South Africa, number one, needs to return to the rule of law and govern by the rule of law. That is why the criminal syndicates are just thriving. I mean, you have that, I think one of the guys that, I think is Cat, coming to the commission dressed in $1 million things. I mean, really, his suits are R1 million. And my personal bugbear is the taxi industry, Clement. Every day a taxi box is executed in broad daylight, like DJ Wallace on the weekend. Shot in broad daylight. How can you shoot somebody in Carlton Center?
That's how brazen they are. Remember, we used to talk about they don't even wear balaclavas anymore. Like when they're hijacking, remember during the height of cash in transit heists, they get on the freeway. When people are driving their cars and they can see who these people are, they get on the freeway. That's when they execute their plan. No balaclavas whatsoever. That's where we are, guys. That's where we are. They're not even scared that we're going to take videos of them. We'll know who they are. That's a very scary situation to find ourselves in. Mohau, you're in Sasolburg. What are your thoughts? Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Clement. Sure. I think the speaker has taken some of my words because I wanted to refer to the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. We cannot be surprised because according to the information gathered, we heard from the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, these criminals are protected by guys like Umchunu, who's this other one, the black one, the other former minister, Dekikwele. I mean, they are covered by those people. So why should they worry? The whole parliament is behind them, is protecting them against defenseless people who, some of them, have nothing to do because they were in the forefront of the struggle. So there's no way we can be surprised. We can only pray for one day. It must be one day. Really, I can stop there. Thank you.
Yeah, Mohau in Sasolburg, thank you for your thoughts. It's 9:31. Let's get the latest in our Witness News headlines. Viso, hi.
Thanks, Clemens. Good morning. It's emerged that DJ Waras opened a protection order against several individuals a week before his murder. The DJ, whose real name was Warwick Stock, was shot in the Johannesburg CBD in broad daylight yesterday. It's understood that the protection order involved 5 people who were living at a previously hijacked building called Zambezi in the city centre. The Madlanga Commission will hand over its interim report to President Cyril Ramaphosa today. Only the final report will be made public. The inquiry was set up by President Ramaphosa earlier this year to investigate claims of corruption and interference in the criminal justice system. And police in Australia have charged alleged Bondi gunman Naveed Akram with terrorism, 15 counts of murder and other crimes after the country's deadliest mass shooting in decades. They say early indications point to a terrorist attack inspired by ISIS, which is listed as a terrorist organization in Australia. Authorities say Naveed and his father Sajid Akram opened fire on a Jewish festival at Sydney's famed Bondi Beach on Sunday, killing 15 people. Those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 10 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
While travelling on the N1 south towards the Grasmere Toll Plaza, do expect delays at this turn off. This is due to holiday makers making their way out of Gauteng. While travelling in Lenasia, we have got some delays reported along Jade Road. This is just as you approach the R558. Please be on the lookout there. There's also queuing traffic on the M2 West. This is just as you head towards Amalgam between Main Reef Road and the Crown Interchange. While travelling on Main Reef Road in itself, queuing traffic towards the Albertton Sisulu Road off-ramp. And then in the city of Tshwane, some delays on the R80 East approaching Eskiampahlele Drive. Do you expect about a 10-minute hold up there? More updates coming up at the top of the hour. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
You're finally taking your long-awaited break.
You're going to see your family.
And you're saying goodbye for now
to your 9 to 5.
But you don't have to say goodbye to your favorite talk station.
Talk station.
This festive season, 702 will keep playing your favorite songs,
having engaging conversations,
and keeping you entertained. So, make sure to sit back,
relax,
and walk the talk with us this festive season.
Download the Prime Media Plus app to make sure you don't miss a single conversation.
Happy holidays
from 702.
Live your best hoop life with Hollywood Bets. Bring your big game energy to the court as we welcome a thrilling new NBA season. Bet 50 Rand or more on any basketball fixture, and you could score a share of 250,000 Rand in cash or an epic NBA shopping spree. Bounce into blistering action. Your ultimate slam dunk moment awaits. Bet now. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counselling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp HELP to 076 675 0710.
This festive season, gift a child healthy meals, hopes, and dreams. Visit ladlesoflove.org.za. And donate 300 Rand a month to sponsor a child and secure a future for all our children.
Cell C is now proudly listed on the JSE. You can say we put the C in JSE, the pinnacle of a 24-year game-changing history, giving South Africans affordable, reliable connectivity. We've adapted and perfected the ABCs, now ranked #1 in SA for video experience on 4G and joint #1 for network reliability.
Really?
C. Now nothing should stop you from being a part of the C. Speak to your broker. Cell C.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
25 minutes before 10 o'clock. This is the 702 open line. We're taking your calls on 011-883-0702. Your WhatsApps on 072-702-1702. We've been discussing the murder of DJ Waras and this criminal network. It looks like we're continuously just falling victim to it. And I don't know, because these criminal networks exist in every sector, really. In the security sector, whether you talk about in the tender system, specific tenders, or you talk about a criminal network, even at a metro level, at a local government level, construction mafias that we often talk about, it's really getting out of control. We're also talking about Advocate Shamila Batohi's cross-examination at the Nkabinde inquiry. What happened this week was so unfortunate. Her deciding to just leave and say, I'm not going to be part of the inquiry anymore, without putting up an application to halt a cross-examination or having the decency to come and put it on record before the commissioners, before the chair. I mean, that's just unheard of. In fact, she just told the legal team, okay, I'm not coming back there. I need legal counsel. Something that she should have come to the... they called her to come back. Of course, she ended up coming back. But my goodness, there are two issues here. One, her posture, just her behavior towards the commission has just been weird. But two, the merits of the case too. What case does she actually have against Advocate Chauke? Because it feels like this has been an inquiry into her fitness to hold office. As I said earlier, this is what Khomotso Modise had said a few days ago. It appears like that, because what have we been watching over the last couple of weeks? My goodness. And I get it, she may be tired, but from the onset, there are certain things that she conceded to. A number of things she conceded to. Let's go to some WhatsApps on 072 702 1702.
Mr. Clement, good morning. I fail to understand the behavior of Shamila Batohi, because surely she knows way better on how to provoke somebody, more especially when in court, so that the person can tell the truth, or so that the person can say it all. But then now, when she's been provoked, she's crying out loud. Why is she not using the tactics? Why is she not using the right tactics of handling yourself or handling herself in court? Because what she's doing, it's a no. Last one here.
Clement, on Shamila Batohi's point, I think Advocate Ngukaidobi is really turning the heat on Shamila Batohi, and she feels that. And she feels that she's losing a grip of the whole thing, and Ngukaidobi is really exposing her, and she feels very defeated, and now she's trying to fight back and to defend her image, but of course coming out as very arrogant and very ignorant at the same time. And again, I think she also very disrespectful of the chair. Agamboni at all. I think it's those two issues when it comes to Shamila Batohi. Moses.
Hi, Clement. I don't know if the two things that I'll be comparing are the same. Is what Shamila Batohi doing not the same as what Jacob Zuma did to us? Then if they are the same, then I think she should face the same consequences that Zuma faced. She's a disrespectful woman. She doesn't respect us. She doesn't respect our country. She doesn't even respect her own job. I don't know what to say, Clement, about this woman. Peter from First Lawrence.
Hi, Clement, it's Darryl from Linden. Just about Shamila Batohi at the inquiry. I think just some things early on that were really disappointing was, one, she didn't read the terms of reference for the inquiry. She's a lawyer. Even as a layperson, I know that if I'm going to be cross-examined, I'm going to prepare myself. She didn't. She didn't go through the case properly about Johan Boysens. And those are like big gaps for a lawyer to be doing. She should know those things. And maybe that explains why we're not getting things right in the NPA. Because if she can't get it right just to do the basics for when she attends an inquiry, then how can we expect her to pull the whole NPA right? And maybe that's why it hasn't come right yet.
Right? Yeah. Someone asked about Jacob Zuma versus Shamila Batohi. The difference you could argue here is that Jacob Zuma said, I am not coming back and I'm not going to participate. Shamila Batohi seems to suggest that I just want to seek some legal advice. I may come back at some point. So you don't want to make a conclusive statement that, oh, Shamila Batohi has gone and is not coming back, when she herself says, I just want to get some legal advice first. And yes, maybe the legal advice will be, stop, don't continue with the cross-examination. She must still make the case for that. She can't just decide with a legal team. She must still write to the commission and make the case for that. And the commission must either accept that or not. And if the commission doesn't accept that, then she still continues to stick to her guns and say, I'm still not coming back. Then that's when we can make that comparison. At this stage, I think she's asking, I just want to speak to my legal team. I think she realizes that she's getting herself more and more in trouble. And not only that, but the recommendations of this commission, when they come out, that may be used as a basis to really correct some wrongs that may have been done in the past. So there are major consequences possibly and she realizes that as long as I've continued with this cross-examination, there's a hole here that I'm getting deeper and deeper into. Eddie, you're calling from Boksburg. What do you want to say about this issue of crime?
The issue of crime, Mr. Clement, I can see, most of the South Africans were looking away. We don't face the real problem. The real problem is our constitution and the cabinet, those people who are in government. Why they're not changing these laws, Mr. Clement? You see, in Australia, that shooting that happened in Australia, they're busy changing the laws. But here, like now, Mr. Clement, when you knock off, then you go home, you find people occupied your house there. You can't chase them away. The law says you must get them a place before you can remove them from your house. What laws is that? Why can't they make this law difficult? Like now, people, they can just kill you now. When they sentence them to life imprisonment, after 7 years, he's out or she's out. That's why, really we can talk as long as those people in government, they don't do something, they don't change these laws. Really, we're just fighting a losing battle. We can blame the police. There is nothing they can do, really.
Yeah, I mean, Eddie, as we stand now, the Minister of Justice said it on the radio last week. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago? She said, as we speak now, there's no legal protection for whistleblowers. As you and I speak now, Eddie. Because they're not finalizing the laws in Parliament. Like, are you kidding me? After so many people have been killed who have tried to blow the whistle, you have not called, this is a state of emergency, or let's fasten the process, do something to show that you truly care, to show that this is truly a priority. As we speak now, with all the whistleblowers who've been killed, there's no legal protection against them currently.
Nothing at all. Nothing at all. We're fighting a losing battle. Even if we can talk until we turn blue. Those people in government, why is it so difficult just to say no? They must just change this law. Why this constitution they said is the best in the world? Like now, Canada and China and other countries, they are telling their people, they said no, you must visit South Africa because you can be killed at any time. And these guys are so happy. These South African, those people who are in government, they are happy to hear about that thing. That thing is painting our country bad, really.
Yeah, there are consequences, Eddie. It's not even just tourism. I mean, if I was about to go to London and I'm hearing people are being killed left, right, center in London, execution style, I will rethink. I will reconsider. If I'm an investor and I want to go put my money in London and I see that the rule of law is completely out, there's no rule of law. Crime is at its highest. I am going to consider and be cautious in how I put in my money in London. And I'm using that example. Similarly so with this country. Crime is not just crime that affects us. Crime affects our bottom line. For crime affects our bottom line. There's a cost to it. There really is a cost to it. And that's something we've got to think about. And maybe we need... the Constitution, as you say, Eddie, the Constitution is not self-executing. There are people that you and I elect into power who must give life to this document. And if this document doesn't serve us, there are certain aspects of it, and by the way, that happens all over the world, well, in most parts of the world, you have a chance to even change the Constitution if you feel there's a particular clause that is regressive or doesn't add value or doesn't help in the advancement of our lives, our interests as a people, as a nation, you can change that. So we need to ask some serious questions about the people we've appointed who are in those positions, who should be doing more. John, you're calling us from Winchester Hills. What are your thoughts? Good morning.
Morning, Herman. Look,
Sure.
we really need to change the constitution. Maybe it's high time we have a referendum about the constitution. Now we've got the GNU, all right? You've got people in government who are not legislating or not doing anything. So we as the people, we need to push and demand a referendum about the changing of our constitution. Our constitution is so open. It's so open to abuse. Look at our immigration laws. Look at our criminal justice system. Bail Conditions Act. All those things need to be overhauled. Because now you get criminals getting away with everything because they know they'll get bail. Then the court, the case will drag for 10 years. Look at Senzo Mewa case. Look at AKA. Those people, they were so blatant to shoot him in front of cameras. What are we doing as a nation? What is the members of the parliament doing about this? And we know they are useless. They can't even, make sense when you listen to them. You listen to these commissions, it's a waste of money. The only thing that we can change is the constitution to make sure that we fight crime. We make sure that we fight all these things that we are faced with. Because the people all over the world, even the international criminal cartels, they know in South Africa you can get away with anything.
All right. Herman, thank you for your call in Winchester Hills.
Thank you.
It's 12 minutes before 10 o'clock.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
You're finally taking your long-awaited break.
You're going to see your family.
And you're saying goodbye for now
to your 9 to 5.
But you don't have to say goodbye to your favorite talk station.
Station.
This festive season, 702 will keep playing your favorite songs,
having engaging conversations,
and keeping you entertained. So, make sure to sit back,
relax,
and walk the talk with us this festive season.
Download the Prime Media Plus app to make sure you don't miss a single conversation.
Happy holidays
from 702.
The Dis-Chem Better Rewards program is here, and every time you shop and save, you're also giving back. Each time you swipe, not only are you rewarded, but a percentage of your purchase is donated to the Dis-Chem Foundation to support communities in need. So why wait? Sign up to become a Better Rewards member today and support with every swipe. Dis-Chem Foundation, caring for the community.
You could spend 10 minutes trying to fix the office printer or get a 10-minute quote from Outsurance that could save you thousands on your car insurance. For her 2025 Hyundai Exter, 65-year-old Helena now pays only 398 Rand a month. And for her 2024 Haval H6 4x4, 50-year-old Priya pays just 1,178 Rand a month. Ready to get more out of your car insurance? SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Outsurance, licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
To walk the talk is to turn words into meaningful actions. And it's what we at 702 are committed to doing every day. We are also committed to following the rules set out by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission's Code of Conduct. To give you balanced programming, fair comments, and accurate news. But if we stumble along the way and you feel we are not living up to the code, let us know on comment@702.co.za. And if after that you're still not happy, you can direct your complaint in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission. Email bccsa@nabsa.co.za. For more, visit bccsa.co.za.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
9 minutes before 10 o'clock.
Morning, Clement, to your crew there, and morning to everyone else who's listening. Clement, a sad state of affairs. This matter of DJ Waras, it is a reflection of the kind of a country that we live in, that is governed at the barrel of a gun. And I would like to send my message of condolences to every patriotic South African who valued the patriotism of this young man. Also, my issue is with these people who are in the positions of influence, who would rather intellectualize issues instead of taking them head on and straight up. The issue of illegal immigration is a thorny issue in this country. You look at, for example, the issue of the murder of AKA. The suspects have been nabbed because they could be traceable. But imagine if these guys who have assassinated DJ Waras are illegals, undocumented.
Morning, Clement Manford here. Somebody told me some time ago that South Africa is not a great country. And I was like, no, you're lying. Yeah. Now I see. South Africa is not at all a great country. Poorer countries are much better than South Africa. The killings, it doesn't happen to those poorer countries. This thing of killing people as if nothing, it's like, I don't know. I really don't know. It's bad. Very. So I will accept that South Africa is not at all a great country. Yeah. Sure. Thank you.
May Waras soul rest in peace. But this is normal. The only difference is that he's a well-known high profile. It's a daily thing. You go to Hillbrow, you often see videos daily. They attack, they kill people. It's Johannesburg, it's Pretoria, Eastern Cape, Western Cape, KZN. Just the same. Nothing will happen to those guys. Where's Aka's case? Where's Senzo Meyiwa's case? And why should the police talk about? They're just supposed to keep quiet, not talk about videos and all that, because those people now have ran away. To just investigated and said we investigated. Actually, they catch some of those. Bad South Africa. Cecilia.
Good morning, 702 and fellow listeners. I am so angry. I am angry that an innocent guy who was hired to sort out issues in a hijacked building, overpopulation, sewer problems, illegal electrical connections, illegal water connections. The yellow duty. For doing the right thing, you just get shot like you are nothing. In a CBD, Mokalton Center. And guess what? Panyazele Sufi, this happened under his watch. He did nothing. He doesn't care each and every day. And his family, Warren's family must not allow any politician to come there. And no, he must not rest in peace. We are no longer rest in peace for people who are killed for doing the right thing. He must fetch all of them. Now he knows who killed him, so he must fetch all of them.
Yeah, so fetch them. Okay, I get your frustration. By the way, Miss Manyathela, where have you been? Guys, this woman was the first person ever to send a voice note on this show when I started doing it about 5 years ago. And me and Abel started calling her Mrs. Manyathela because some listeners called her that. And I was talking with Abel the other day, a few months ago, and we were like, where's that woman? Because we really haven't heard her, Mrs. Manyathela, on the show in a while. So it's great to hear from you. Thank you for the voice note. I get the frustration. I just think, and you're right, this happens almost every single day. It does. This level of brazenness, the brazenness with which these crimes are executed, it happens every day. It's just that we have opportunities to reflect on this when it happens to people we know, people that are known because it's in the news and then it becomes part of the public narrative. But this is what happens. There are people who get killed for doing what is right out there, and that has not been reported about. Oh, so much negativity. Let's go to Nati now, and Damasa, who's calling us from Johannesburg. Let's focus on something positive for a second as we wrap up the 702 open line. Nati, good morning.
Good morning, Clement. How are you?
I'm all right. Talk to me about this Zenazi Circle of Hope Maternity Pack initiative. What are you guys doing?
So the Zenazi Circle of Hope, can I give you a bit of background? I know you're going to be out of
Yes,
time
please.
soon because you need to go to the news. So the Zenazi Circle of Hope was really, it was an initiative that was created after I had my daughter Zenazi, of whom the organization is named after. You know, I was very privileged, Clement, in that I was able to prepare for my child. I was able to, you know, go to my prenatal checkups at the doctors. I was able to pack a bag of dignity for my child upon my child's arrival. So I had all my essentials, Clement. You know, the baby grows, the booties, the socks, the hoodies, the toiletries, whether it was surgical spirits and Vaseline and all of those things, the essentials that you need to take care of your child in those initial hours and days of life. And then when I got to the hospital, Clement, to my surprise, I realized you get an extra bag at the hospital with the same supplies that you've packed in your bag, right? So I was like, okay, it's obviously a beautiful gesture from the hospital and nice to have, but it was not a necessity. I kept that bag, gave it to a lady. So I'm from the Eastern Cape, from a village called Ngeleni. I gave it to a lady in Ngeleni in the Eastern Cape. I could not have been prepared for the response I received from that lady, Clement. She cried because for her, she had no means to prepare for her child. And I realized that the reality of some women in this country, Clement, is that pregnancy and welcoming a child or thinking about welcoming your child is not a pleasant experience because some of them are unemployed. And upon telling your partner that you are pregnant, some of these partners disappear on them. So they've got no way of, you know, putting together the bare essentials that they need for their baby. Then there's also the crisis of teenage pregnancies in this country where children are giving birth to children. And some of these pregnancies are a result of, you know, rape. They're products. These children are products of rape and abuse. These children are left traumatized, scared, alone, Clement, coming from impoverished families who can barely provide for them, never mind a new life. Where are they to turn to, you know? So the Zenazi Circle of Hope was created because we wanted to create a comfort pack. The full name of the Zenazi Circle of Hope is Zenazi Tikukona. Know that God is with you. So even in this desperate state that you find yourself in, scared, frustrated, know that God is there. Because you'll find that most times also, Clement, these women will leave home with only money for transportation to take them to the hospital, and that's public transportation. That's not a CI, a 16-seater. It's a van, and you're sitting at the back of a bakkie with five or eight other people, a goat in between, and vegetables. You get what I mean? With nothing else to offer your child except the warmth of your chest. You get to hospital, and when you're leaving, you wrap your baby around a hospital sheet because you don't have the dignity of a blanket. So we decided, let's do something, and that's what we're doing. We've got a maternity drive this tomorrow. It's happening tomorrow in the Eastern Cape at a hospital named Inklaza. It's St. Barnabas, but it's known as Inklaza in Ngeleni tomorrow.
Oh, so you're handing out over 100 bags or so to that specific hospital. What is, if people want to come in, Nati, and say this is a cause that speaks to my heart and I want to be able to also contribute, how do they get in touch?
Get in touch with me. I'm Nati at Zenazi, Zenani, Zenazi at Z-A. I can't even spell Zenazi, Zenazi, Nati at zenazi.org, Nati at zenazi.org. That's how you get a hold of me. And I'm calling out to private hospitals who can these bags over. Please give those those ladies an option to maybe donate those bags to a woman who is in need. The big companies who manufacture these products, Clement, the maternity pads, the maternity bras and underwear, the toiletries that these babies need, please get in touch with us. Donate for a family that is in need, that has nothing.
Yeah, Nati Ndamaza, thank you so much for that. Zenazi Circle of Hope Maternity Pack Initiative. You can email at nati@zenazi.org.
There's a new way to experience all your favorites. Pulse Africa, the 24/7 fast channel, now live on primemediaplus.com and the Prime Media Plus app, bringing you the best of Prime Media around the clock. Watch the biggest moments from 702. It's non-stop entertainment and authentic African storytelling, all from Africa's leading media network. Pulse Africa, only on the PrimeMediaPlus.com and Prime Media Plus app.
To all road users, drivers, passengers, and pedestrians, let us stay safe on our roads. Let us respect the law and the moral responsibility we all share to do what is right. Don't drink and drive. Don't drink and jaywalk. And remember, the road is not a stage for influencers or content creators. Let this season be a time of celebration and family, not sadness and road deaths. Brought to you by the Department of Transport, moving South Africa forward.
Business Outsurance are experts in business insurance for butcheries, restaurants, beauty salons, and more. Here's Gert.
I definitely have peace of mind that Business Outsurance is protecting our business. I do think Business Outsurance are the best insurance company out there, and they gave us the best quotes.
Switch to Business Outsurance and you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium. Visit outsurance.co.za. Switch and save today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
PG Glass Repair, PG Glass Replace.
Hi, I'm Komoto, PG Glass Technician. At PG Glass, we keep your windscreen chip-free and crystal clear.
Choose PG Glass, quality you can trust. Visit pg.co.za.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I am Sfiso Zulu. It's emerged that DJ Waras opened a protection order against several individuals a week before his murder. The DJ, whose real name was Warwick Stock, was shot in the Johannesburg CBD in broad daylight yesterday. It's understood that the protection order involved 5 people who were living at a previously hijacked building called Zambezi in the city centre. Oren Singh reports.
Johannesburg's MMC for Community Safety, Mqini Chwaku, says Warwick Stock had a protection order granted against 5 people. The individuals, whose identities are unknown at this stage, were reportedly living at a hijacked building called Zambezi, where Stock was managing the security. Stock's company, Elite VIP, secured the security contract. Chwaku told EWN that there were genuine threats against Stock's life by those listed in the protection order. The protection order was a week old. Stock was shot at least 4 times while leaving the building yesterday. Arun Singh, Eyewitness News.
The Matlanga Commission will hand over its interim report to President Cyril Ramaphosa today. Only the final report will be made public. The inquiry was set up by President Ramaphosa earlier this year to investigate claims of corruption and interference in the criminal justice system. The process was prompted by allegations made by KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. The charred remains of 2 people have been recovered from an apartment in Albertton on the East Rand. Ekurhuleni Emergency Services say a fire broke out in the units in the early hours of this morning. Authorities believe this could be a case of double suicide. EMS spokesperson Tiki McDonald says the matter is being investigated.
During the primary search and overall operations, the charred bodies of 2 occupants were tragically discovered in one of the 2 bedrooms. Both the individuals were declared dead by the Gauteng Emergency Services on scene. A note was reportedly found on the kitchen table, suggesting a possible case of death by suicide.
President Cyril Ramaphosa has challenged false claims of genocide in South Africa during his annual reconciliation address, saying the country's detractors are deliberately overlooking scenes of unity and social cohesion. Speaking at Ngutu in KwaZulu-Natal yesterday, Ramaphosa repeatedly highlighted the attendance of the Afrikaner cultural groups at the event, saying this year's commemoration was one of the best displays of a mix of cultures. After a year of South Africa coming under increasing attack of a misinformation campaign from the United States that Afrikaners are being persecuted in the country, Ramaphosa has appealed for a combined commemoration in future, saying it would make the day more meaningful. Lindsay Tentlinker reports.
President Cyril Ramaphosa yesterday made special mention of the presence of Afrikaner cultural groups at the event under the leadership of the son of the former founder of the Afrikaner Enclave, Oranje.
Professor Karel Boshoff's presence here talks to the absence of genocide. If there was genocide, he would not have come here.
Ramaphosa said there are those who are deliberately trying to paint a false picture of social cohesion and ignoring how younger generations are embracing their diversity.
They don't want to play all the social media clips we are seeing of young Afrikaners in veldskoens dancing to amapiano and white teenagers speaking fluent isiZulu with their friends.
The president has once again appealed to all community groups to attend the national dialogue to forge reconciliation. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News.
And police in Australia have charged alleged Bondi gunman Naveed Akram with terrorism, 15 counts of murder and other crimes after the country's deadliest mass shooting in decades. They say early indications point to a terrorist attack that's inspired by ISIS, which is listed as a terrorist organization in Australia. Authorities say Naveed and his father, Sajid Akram, opened fire on a Jewish festival at Sydney's famed Bondi Beach on Sunday, killing 15 people. Naveed was critically wounded by police during the shooting, while his father was killed. The son remains in hospital and will face court by audiovisual link today. And Prime Minister Anthony Albanese says the attack has shaken Australia.
We will give whatever powers are necessary to our police forces, to our security and intelligence agencies, arising from this act of terror, an act of anti-Semitism that we saw play out on Sunday night.
Gold is trading at $4,339.46 an ounce. The rand is at 16.75 to the dollar, 22.42 to the pound, 19.64 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $59.77 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got an accident seen on the N1 North in the city of Tshwane right after the Flying Saucer interchange. It is causing delays. Please be on the lookout there. While traveling on the N3 North towards the Gidulis interchange, expect a slight backup coming out of Van Buren Road.
A cloudy day in store for Gauteng with scattered showers and thunder showers expected. The temperatures will peak at highs between 25 and 27 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour, it's emerged that DJ Warris opened a protection order against several individuals a week before his murder.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
You're with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
Let's walk the talk. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7 and 106 FM.
Nine minutes after 10 o'clock, Dumelang, Sanbonani, Goeiemorgen, Bonjour. Welcome to the second hour of the Clement Manyathela Show. Thank you for staying with us here on 702. Remember, at 11 o'clock, we're going to do our Listener's Choice feature. And today we're going to be discussing scams and the fraud that you need to look out for this festive season. It's important that we talk about this because, my goodness, there are a lot of scams and frauds that are no longer isolated incidents. They have become a daily reality for many South Africans, from WhatsApp messages claiming to be from banks or police officers to fake job offers, investment opportunities, and tax-related scams. Criminals are constantly adapting their tactics and exploiting fear, urgency, and financial pressure. So what makes this even more concerning is that anyone can be targeted, regardless of your age, of your income or level of education. So as this festive season kicks off, tax deadlines and tough economic conditions, we know, always create that fertile ground for scammers. And I think it's at this point that it's important more than ever for the public to understand what to look out for and how to protect themselves. And that's where organizations like the South African Fraud Prevention Services play a critical role, not only in helping to prevent the fraud and identity theft, but also in educating you as a consumer and sounding the alarm on emerging scam trends, because those are the things that they watch very closely. So that's going to be our conversation at 11 o'clock. But right now, we start our chat with the Border Management Authority.
You're with Clement Manyathela.
702.
The CEO at the Border Management Authority, the commissioner there is Dr. Mike Masiapato, and I really want us to have a conversation about how ready the BMA is for the festive season, given the anticipated surge in traveller volumes across ports of entry. As you know, the BMA has also intercepted over 8,000 illegal entry attempts during this festive season as part of its festive season crackdown. And they've been warning travellers, in fact, to not break the law at border posts this festive season. So how have they strengthened their systems this year? That's our conversation. Dr. Mike Masiapato, thank you so much for joining us. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement, and thanks for this opportunity. We appreciate it as the BMA.
How ready are you for this December, January festive season, given the anticipated surge in traveller volumes across the different ports of entry?
Yeah, Clement, as we always do during this particular period, we basically start our planning ahead of time. We started around the 15th of September in terms of the planning for this particular period, and that planning ran until the 9th of December. And of course, we then started implementing the festive season plan from last week on Wednesday, the 9th of December. And by the way, it is going to be running in terms of the exit leg or the first leg until the end of December. And then from there, from the 1st of January 2026 until the 16th, we will be handling the return. We are actually very much ready to be able to handle the period. And indeed, as you said, we are anticipating a full pre-COVID recovery, at least of around 6 million and above people that we are supposed to facilitate. We are fairly very much ready, and the entire ecosystem is ready.
That's good to hear. You've already intercepted over 8,000 people attempting to enter the country illegally. What ports were they using, and what does this figure tell us about the current border pressures during this peak travel period?
Yeah, Clement, on the 8,000 figure that we referenced, that was in terms of our report for the second quarter of 2025-2026, and that is the period from the 1st of July until the end of September. So when we were given that second quarter report, we did indicate that over 8,000 individuals had been intercepted attempting to enter the country illegally. In terms of the majority of the individuals in that instance is the Basotho national, followed by the Zimbabwean nationals, and then followed by the Mozambicans. In terms of the critical problematic ports, is fairly Ficksburg port of entry, as well as Maseru Bridge around the Caledon River with Lesotho. And of course, in terms of Zimbabwe, obviously it's our northern border around your Bay Bridge area. And of course, the Libombo, around Libombo port of entry is the biggest problematic area in terms of Mozambique. So that is basically where the majority of the interceptions had been. And of course, in terms of our planning for the festive season, we have made sure that requisite resources are actually availed together with the requisite technology to be able to make sure that we don't allow any individuals attempting to enter or even exit the country illegally, particularly through the vulnerable segments on the borderline.
Okay. What exactly are the issues at those particular ports of entry? I mean, what trends have you as the BMA identified in relation to these illegal entry attempts? What are you picking up?
You see, the main issue, Clement, which is very much unfortunate and very much practical, is the issue of the ability of the respective countries to be able to issue the requisite travel documents to their people. If you talk about Lesotho in particular, we do intercept a number of just ordinary people, trying to cross through the Caledon River. And by the way, I'm actually on the way to Ficksburg and Maseru as we speak. When we engage with them to understand what are the issues, they basically indicate that they don't have the passports. And some of them, by the way, they actually used to have passports, they expired. Some of them had actually been V-listed, meaning that they overstayed in South Africa. And on that basis, they had to be banned from entering the country legally for the next 5 years. So on that basis, they basically drift out into the vulnerable segment. So those are the kind of trends that we are picking up. In terms of Zimbabwe, for instance, it's not necessarily about the government's inability, but it's the cost of the passport. They talk about figures that are almost at a range of around what you will call almost 5,000 rands equivalent that they have to be paying to get the passports. And those are the kind of issues that they deal with.
But I'm just wondering, though, why do they... I mean, if you don't have a passport, what are you doing at a port of entry when you don't have the document? So I guess what I'm trying to get to is how big of a factor is the issue of corruption? Because the reason these people go there without the requisite documentation is because they know that they've probably done it before, or some friends of theirs or neighbors have done it where they've just crossed the border without a passport, or they've crossed the border without some of the documentations that are required. How big of a factor is the issue of corruption, where money is exchanging hands and then the next thing, people are here illegally?
Yeah, maybe let's start by saying on this particular point, Clement, that the issue of corruption has been something very much fundamental. And it is something, obviously, as the BMA, we came on board, and that is one of the issues and the realities that we inherited. So, indeed, the people previously literally were walking into the country illegally, and in that, there were a lot of facilitators that had actually guaranteed to people that they will be able to be facilitated without any issue into the country. Therefore, in the past 2 years, I want to indicate that there has been a lot of interceptions that we have done. There has been a lot of work that we did to be able to deal with that particular scourge. That is why you will see the highest number of the interceptions. Otherwise, if it was in the previous normal course of events, you would argue that those are the numbers of the people that would have walked into the country. What have we done now to deal with the issues? And I want to be very practical. One of the things that we have done, Clement, is to make sure that we bring in the border guards to man the gates into the port of entry and make sure that only people that are legitimate travelers are allowed inside the port, so that we deal with this thing of facilitators who would walk around the port and then started to spot the people and started to compromise our officials. So in this instance, we make sure that no one enters the port unless they are they are a traveler with requisite documentation. That's part of the issues. But the second other part was the issue of the body cams. So officials do operate now with body cams. And because of that, we are able to actually monitor the activities in terms of audio and visual as they intersect with the travelers. So all of
they've already started with the body cams.
Yes, indeed. Remember, we started in April, festive season, with the body cams. If you have passed through OR Tambo quite recently, you will realize the officials there that will be assisting you, they are on body cams. So effectively, as you interact with them, we are able to see you on the body cam, and we are able to hear the conversation. So that ultimately what it assists us with is to make sure that we are able to pick up in instances where there might be some kind of nefarious talk. However, Clement, not all officials are on body cams because we don't have enough of them. We are just going to be buying more as soon as we get more resources.
Let's talk about cross-border crime now. How are you looking to combat that, including the interception of stolen vehicles, whether it's narcotics, counterfeit goods, illicit cigarettes? Because this is also a time where they start, taking chances.
Yeah, you see, Clement, that is unfortunately one of those issues that we have to also be putting an effort on. In as much as under normal circumstances, we were supposed to be focused on facilitating the legitimate movement of people, ensuring that people are not spending too much time at the port, and make sure that there is better customer service, better service delivery in the port. Now we have to be dealing with all the other angle, and that is the criminality aspect. You're very much right. In the media statement we issued, we also cited that in that second quarter that we spoke about 15 high-value vehicles were intercepted by the BMA. We had to hand them over to SAPS for further processing. And when we aggregate the figures from the point of our work we talk about over 395 vehicles that we had to intercept and bring back into the country. In terms of the movement, Clement, of illicit cigarettes, particularly from our northern border, we continue to deal with that fairly on a daily basis, both outside the port into the vulnerable segment, but also within the port, where we are able to intercept them via some trucks that will be carrying some of those concealed, among other goods and all of those kind of issues. So we continue to deal with that. That is why we talk about an aggregated figure of over 1 billion in terms of the intercepted cigarettes on our northern border. You will remember that British American Tobacco did confirm that as we speak, over 75% of cigarettes smoked in South Africa is illicit, only 25% is actually legal. So that is a demonstration of how big the problem is, but we continue to do our best, obviously working together with other law enforcement structures like the SAPS together with the Defense Force. In terms of the eastern border with Mozambique, we also continue to intercept the movement of your guns and all of those kind of things. And of course, in terms of our border with Eswatini, we deal with the interception of your Daha and all of those. And of course, in terms of the border with Lesotho, we continue with stock theft and basic cross-border crimes. So all of these activities, we are doing them together with the rest of the ecosystem in making sure that at least there is some bit of legality that is supposed to take place in the value chain.
Yeah. All right. It's 22 minutes after 10 o'clock. I want to bring in some views, inputs, and some questions from our listeners on 011-883-0702. That's the number to dial if anything piqued your interest from what we've discussed so far with Dr. Mike Masiapato, who's the Commissioner and CEO at the Border Management Authority. It's that time of the year where it's going to get busy at our ports of entry. And there are some shenanigans that often happen during this time of the year that the Border Management Authority must be careful of. Already they've intercepted over 8,000 illegal entry attempts during this festive season as part of their festive season crackdown. So they've got to be ready for that. And I'm asking you, do you have a question? What concerns do you have? Maybe you're planning on traveling and you're going to be crossing the border yourself. And you've got some concerns or questions, give us a call or send us a WhatsApp voice note. Let's start with your WhatsApps.
Morning, Clement. Yeah. What I want to know about is this border management. Why they are giving people 2 weeks to visit instead of 3 months, because they are given 3 months. Because now they are making a business of that. They can't stamp a passport for you. You have to get like 3 months each and every time. To get a month is 100 rand, a month is 100 rand. Why are they doing that thing? And then there's nothing that they are doing there. People are entering each and every day. There's nothing that is happening in Beitbridge. I've been there for more than I don't know how many times a year. There's nothing they are doing there. They are just bribing them.
Okay, so I mean, surely you can't say that that there's nothing that they're doing. But I think I get the point you're making. The question you've got is, why do you get 2 weeks to visit instead of the 3 months? I'm assuming here, Dr. Masiapato, that these are people who, I don't know what kind of documents they would have here, whether it wouldn't be asylum if you're going back to the country you ran away from. But under what circumstances would you, as the Border Management Authority or as Home Affairs, give someone a 2 week or 3 month period to go visit, whether they're going into Zimbabwe? Let's use Zimbabwe as an example. Are there circumstances where that happens? Can you clarify that for us, please?
Yeah, no, thanks, Clement. Let's clarify the issue. Clement, when it comes to the SADC countries coming into South Africa and a lot of other countries globally, there is something that we call visitors free entry into South Africa. In terms of SADC, even ourselves as South Africans, we have the same arrangement. It is a 90-day visa-free entry, mainly for visiting purposes. So what does that mean in simple terms? So what it means is this, Clement. If you are a Zimbabwean, you want to visit South Africa, you only need a passport. You don't need a visa to come to South Africa because of that arrangement. So as the BMA, we implement that provision. We do not necessarily make that law. That law is made by Home Affairs and all of that. So what does it mean in practical terms? 90 days means 3 months. So if you visit South Africa for 1 month in a particular year, you would have actually exhausted 30 days of your 90 days. Therefore, if you go back and you want to visit again, within that particular year, you'll be left with 60 days. And then if you visit again and you spend another 1 month, you will be left with 30 days. So that is what it means. So meaning that as you visit, we minus the days of your free entry into the country. And therefore, given the example that the gentleman is giving now, is that if you are left with 3 weeks, as he said, you will be given 3 weeks because that is the 3 weeks left in your 90 days in that particular year. In terms of, we count it from the date of your first visit and we count it in that particular context. There are no days, Clement, that are sold. Nobody sells any days. If anybody demands any money about selling days, you need to report that person. We have publicized our HTVC number where people must report corruption, but there is no anything like that. If your days are done, you will no longer be able to enter South Africa visa free. Then it means you must now apply for a visitor's visa with the Department of Home Affairs. So this is the issue in this particular instance. It's not about asylum. It's about somebody wanting to visit South Africa. In the same way you will do yourself if you go to Botswana. They will give you 90 days and then you can visit there. If you spend two weeks, then it means you come back. And then if you go again, they will also still say, how many days do you have if it is within a particular year and stuff like that.
Yeah, okay. Here's another WhatsApp voice note that's come through.
Morning, Clement. Can I be anonymous? I want to tell you something. That's a song of ukuthi emapota kwenziwani, emapota, amapodicam, emapota, they are working very hard. I'll tell you straight, just hear it from the horse's mouth. That's a song. Mina, I'm a transporter of impahla. But not ama trucks and stuff, no, like impahla abantu mabethengelana ngihambisa that other side. So sinokubona, we do have friends that smuggle people and they are working with authorities. So lento le into yakudala Clement yakudala, and even namanje still the same thing. Abukho ubunzima ukungena eborder only mawuphethe imali. I'll tell you straight, just hear it from the horse's mouth. I'm sorry, I'm not saying South Africa is bad, but the truth must be told. Border is very easy. It's like walking into a shop and buying bread. The way is ngakhona ungena. They only intercept abantu or they only arrest abantu abangenamali. If you have money, kusasa ulala use South Africa. If you have money, kusasa ulala use Maputo, ulala use Zimbabwe, wherever. Money speaks, bro. Sharp.
Sure, and I mean that is quite a reality, Dr. Masiapato. But then you spoke about body cameras earlier on. Is it all the officials that are required to wear those body cams from the beginning when you are entering that zone at the port?
Yeah, so basically in terms of the body cams, as I've indicated, we talk about the border guards that are actually in the front line, meaning that they are the ones that are at the gate to make sure that only people with requisite documents enter into the port and be able to be processed ultimately by the immigration officers. If they are inbound, they have to be processed by the port health. And of course, our agricultural biosecurity will have to check whatever that they are carrying and all of that. So that is the essence. Now, in terms of the BMA policy, all the officials are supposed to be on body cams. Unfortunately, we don't have enough, and therefore it's not everybody that is on body cams. That is the first point. But the second point, Clement, is also not all the ports that are also having access to the body cams. In this instance, we look at our top ports where we process the majority of the people, mainly your Libombo, your Beitbridge, your Maseru Bridge, your Fixbeck, Kopfontein. Those are the ports where we have actually some of these tools, as it were. In terms of what the individual is talking about, you see, to be honest, Clement, without defending anything, one thing that we always emphasize is people, if somebody demands money, they should be able to indicate who that is. Our officials do have the name tags and they must be able to report them. But if, for example, they also say that somebody has been paid money to facilitate somebody, if it is within a port, then they must be able to indicate which officials or which port, for instance. Because currently, maybe let me also put it very, very blunt, Clement, and I think you will remember this yourself. Remember previously, just on the N1 corridor from Zimbabwean side or from Beitbridge, we used to have incidences that were very common cause where the police will intercept buses along the corridor entering South Africa. In that bus, you will find that there will be something like 60 people, and you will find 50 of those people without documents and only 10 with documents. That is what used to be the normal practice. And by the way, those interceptions were happening almost weekly. And you can ask yourself now, and I think you are in this particular environment of the news, why has those incidences gone down? They've gone down primarily because we are doing things differently now at the port. Initially, people will arrive at the port. On the other side, they exit. And then they exit the bus, go into the bush. And then from there, only few people with documents enter the port. They get processed. Then all of a sudden, when they arrive on the other side, they actually arrive on the other side and then they walk through the bush, they connect back to their buses and all of that. We have dealt with those issues very decisively. And that is why, whether on the N4 corridor from Libombo, whether on the N1 corridor, that side from Zimbabwe, or whether on the N8 corridor from Maseru side, if there are some of those incidences that colleagues are saying it still happens that people walk into the country, let them bring that to our attention. I'm not saying people no longer enter completely, they do, but they no longer enter with impunity as it used to be the case.
It's 10:32. Let's get the latest in Eyewitness News headlines, and then we'll continue this conversation with Dr. Mike Masiapato, the Commissioner and CEO at the Border Management Authority. Keep your questions and your inputs coming on 072-702-1702. Your calls as well. I'll get to them after the headlines. Fiso, hi.
Thanks, Clements. Good morning. The Home Affairs Department has confirmed the arrest of 7 Kenyan nationals who have purportedly been processing refugee applications for United States asylum seekers. The department says they are in the country illegally after earlier visa applications for them to perform this job were denied. The arrests were made at an undisclosed site in Johannesburg yesterday after the department received a tip-off of illegal work being carried out. It's emerged that DJ Warris opened a protection order against several individuals a week before his murder. The DJ, whose real name was Warwick Stock, was shot in the Johannesburg CBD in broad daylight yesterday. It's understood that the protection orders involved 5 people who were living at a previously hijacked building known as Zambezi in the city centre. And Tourism Minister Patricia de Lille says plans are in place to address safety concerns for thousands of tourists in major destinations this festive season. This follows travel advisories from several countries, including Canada and the US, warning their citizens about crime hotspots in South Africa. Domestic tourists have also not been spared from a spike in crime in parts of Cape Town and Joburg, especially during the peak season. Those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 11 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Traveling in the city of Tshwane, we've got an accident. It's really a major one on the N1 North. It happened near Rigel Avenue. At this moment, delays are as you come out of Botha Avenue, and they're causing about a 20-minute hold up there. Unfortunately, the R21 North is affected coming out of Nalmepius Drive. Please try to use the N14 North if you're heading towards areas like the CBD of Tshwane. While traveling in Bedfordview, delays on the N3 North between Van Buren Road and the Kilulis interchange. There's also queuing traffic on the N12 and the R24 west towards the Kilulis turn off, and heading towards Amalgam, traffic remains heavily backed up. This is along the M2 west between the Crown turn off and Main Reef Road, as well as on the Main Reef Road between the Crown Wood Road exit and Albertton Sisulu Road. Please be on the lookout there. More updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Listen up, corporates. Wrap up your tax year on a meaningful note by donating to DKMS. Your support assists in fighting life-threatening blood cancers by enabling DKMS to recruit more potential donors, as well as raising patients' chances of finding a match. And there's an added advantage. Enjoy the benefits of a Section 18A tax certificate, which grants your company a well-deserved rebate. Be a force for good this tax season by giving those in need a new lease on life. Email fundraising at dkms-africa.org to donate today.
Join the summer spectacle of speed with Hollywood Bets. Take the reins with the sizzling summer competition. Bet 50 Rand or more on horse racing for a chance to win a share of 1 million Rand in prizes. This includes one of 8 all-expenses-paid VIP experiences to the 2026 WSB Cape Met. Saddle up and bet now for a chance to claim flaming fortunes at the finish line. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
Meet McDonald. He is the self-proclaimed king of homegrown veggies. You see, McDonald believes as long as he sprinkles the seeds, the veggies will grow. He even promised beetroot and carrots to the entire neighborhood. Now, abantu bazotini, when the neighbors are asking for their share, but not a single veggie has grown. Ah, booty, avoid the embarrassment. Make smarter decisions for your home. Visit Cashbuild for quality gardening tools and seeds at the lowest prices. Cashbuild.
The Money Show.
Weekday evenings at 6.
Some news from our wine industry. It looks like they've had good conditions over the period. They're expecting a strong harvest this year. Wandile Seklobo is Chief Economist at the Agricultural Business Chamber of South Africa.
Taste and quality, Stephen, when it comes to wine matters. And this time around, because we had these intense heat and nice rains at an appropriate time, it turns out that the maturation of the grapes have actually been excellent and the volume, of course, has been good.
The Money Show
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
The Money Show with Stephen Curtis is brought to you by ABSA CIB, accelerating infrastructure-led growth and economic resilience through the South African National Treasury's 11.8 billion rand infrastructure and development finance bond. ABSA is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
Taking a break doesn't mean missing a beat.
702.
Let's walk the talk.
It's 23 minutes before 11 o'clock. We're having a conversation this morning with Dr. Mike Masiapato, who is the Commissioner and CEO at the Border Management Authority. How ready is the BMA for the festive season, given the anticipated surge in traveller volumes across ports of entry? We've got your calls coming on 011-883-0702. So let's start there. Chris, let's start with you. You're calling us from Pretoria. Good morning.
Morning, Clement and the CEO.
Sure. Go ahead, brother.
We really appreciate the good work, but the board cams, the challenge is, are they 360 cameras, or they just saw the visitor approaching? And I don't know how are they going to find the handshake, because they no longer talk nowadays. They just shake the hand. And when they hand over the passport, the official knows what to do. The passport is overstayed. I've witnessed this. I don't know how they are going to combat it. It starts from Bosman Park Station. They are carrying passports, like you was confirming, and confirming that it's happening. And these traffic cops and cops along the way, they don't even inspect anything on that fully loaded bus, checking passport or whatever. The guy opens the door. It's a handshake. They speak in Shona. They now know Shona because they are greeted each and every day with a palm that is full of money. So, Commissioner, I don't know how you're going to fight this, because each and every bus that goes to Zim every day, I can guarantee you the driver, conductor is carrying more than 10 passports.
10
and
passports?
The people, yes.
All right, Chris, yeah.
They are going to be stamped, they are going to come back. But in their mind, they might think they are fighting crime. But they are not fighting it enough. But we appreciate they are trying. But I've seen it sitting in the bus in front there. They open.
Okay, yeah, Chris, thank you for raising that. I'll get Dr. Masiapato to respond to that. Semi, you are in Centurion. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement.
Sure.
Your guest says that people are able to come here on a visa-free entry, 90-day visa-free entry.
Yeah.
When these people come here, do they take down their address where they are going, where they are visiting, and ask them, where are you going to, and where are you going to? Whom are you visiting? What's their address? And how do they make sure that when that 90-day period expires, those people get out of our country and go back home? Because this is a problem with the another thing that contributes to immigration problem in our country, that a person will come here and say, I'm coming to visit, and then they just stay here forever. So how do they make sure that they go back home after the 90-day period? And do they ask them, whom are they visiting? What's the address?
Yeah. All right. Semi in Centurion, thank you so much for that. And let me give Dr. Masiapato an opportunity to respond, and we'll take more of your inputs. Commissioner?
Yes. Yeah. No, thanks, Clement. Maybe let me start with Chris. Firstly, Chris is right. There has been a very unfortunate reality where people will collect passports of people and then ultimately end up going to the port and get the passport stamped as if somebody has traveled whilst they have not actually traveled, and all of those kind of issues. Now, how have we dealt with that? Clement, you will remember on the 1st of August, we actually did away with all the stamps that we had inherited from the Department of Home Affairs, and we procured one of the top secure stamps with serious security features in it, and we did unveil those particular stamps. And by the way, one of the most critical parts that we have done with those new stamps is to make sure that each and every immigration officer will then have their own issued personalized stamp with a personalized number. Meaning that each and every officer, when they get to work, they go to a safe, they have to remove their stamp and make sure that they go and work. Meaning that if we find that your stamp has been used to fraudulently stamp people's passports to legitimize their presence in the country, you then get very seriously accountable. So that is what we have done to deal with that particular issue that Chris had actually demonstrated, and that is not necessarily untrue, or that is what he's saying used to be the case. And by the 1st of August, we dealt with that by introducing the new stamps. You will remember the traditional stamps that we inherited from Home Affairs. You could easily get it from any bookshop, just put in the date and ultimately started stamping people's passports. But now we have a new stamp. Those that have traveled after August will tell you how the stamp looks like. And of course, we put in serious features there. If there is to be a way that it can actually be duplicated, we will be able to see that, because it is something that is done in a very specialized manner. So that is basically just to address that. In terms of the issue about the traffic officers on the road and all of those issues, I wouldn't necessarily be able to speak with confidence on the issue of the traffic officers, because that will then be spoken to by the traffic authorities. Lastly, in terms of what Semi is saying, let me put it this way, Clement, which is very much fundamental. The Border Management Authority is a frontline structure. Our responsibility is to implement laws, regulations, directives that come from the respective departments. If it is immigration, it comes from Home Affairs. If it is health, it comes from health. Agriculture, from agriculture. Environment, from... So in other words, we don't set the rules. The rules are already set. Therefore, in SADC, they agreed. People within SADC will come into each other's country for 90 days without visa, and they come as visitors. Now, what is the problem? The problem is referring to is a fact. We have people that cross the border with a passport that is valid. They say they are coming here as visitors. They come here and they stay forever. They come here and they work in the country. That is illegal. Therefore, that is not a border management issue per se. That is an internal immigration issue together with the Department of Labor, which means that if somebody is in this country as a visitor and they end up working, that particular person must be dealt with by the Inspectorate of the Department of Labor. If that person does not exit when their 90 days expire, the Inspectorate or the Immigration Inspectorate of the Department of Home Affairs will have to find that person and let them out. Border Management Authority is at the port. We facilitate legitimate movement of persons and goods.
Maybe
Sorry, Clement, let me just quickly also talk about the issue of the questions. So, Clement, we do ask people, maybe let me give a typical example. At the airport, when we ask people, where are you going to stay? What is your address? And all of those issues, the typical example is that issue of the Palestinians, which was widely covered. If people don't answer those questions in the way they need to be answered, we definitely make sure that the people are not allowed in. But I want to be very much honest. And I think those people that understand us and Africa itself will understand the reality. when it comes to land ports, it becomes very much difficult as it is in the international airports environment. Because at the end of the day, the people that we ask questions at the land ports, they can still say, I'm going to a sheikh, whatever, and all of those issues. And it becomes very much difficult to even be very much conventional on that. So I want to be very much honest and say, on the land port, that issue of the immigration questions are not as done as per practice versus the way we do it at the airport.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Are other countries, though, interested to work with you? Do you have any agreements reached with neighboring countries so that you streamline this cross-border movement during the festive season? Because I would imagine cooperation with, border communities and neighboring states sort of contributes to improved border security and compliance generally.
Yeah, you see, Clement, where we are doing well, and once again, from a BMA, we work from the point of transparency, because we are not necessarily going to be not speaking the truth. Let me put it this way. The better cooperation that we get from our immediate neighborhood, it is very good when it comes to the issues of streamlining activities in ports, bringing efficiencies into the port. In that way, we are doing well. And I want to give a practical example. We have just collaborated now with the Mozambicans. I think you were aware, just on Saturday, I was in Lebombo with Minister Chrissy. We met with the Minister of Transport. We have now co-located with the Mozambicans to make sure that the processing of the trucks in Lebombo actually is done from one place. So we have co-located with Mozambicans. We do immigration customs. They do immigration customs in one place, and the trucks just go straight. And the drivers no longer have to get out of the truck, and therefore it is smooth. That is where we are doing well. We did the same with Eswatini, for example. We were able to reduce the truck waiting time on the N17 corridor to Oshuk from 3 hours to 20 minutes, end to end, meaning from our side to their side. Again, I'm going to Lesotho now. We've been there last month. We did the same. So we are doing well. Where we are not doing well, Clement, is on issues of illegal migration, on issues of illegal activities, because the majority of those, they happen outside ports. There, countries don't invest in the way that they are supposed to when we have to be dealing with those particular issues. And I suppose the rationale for that is because they are not as affected as we are. And that is why there is not much investment from their side. However, we engage with our counterparts, they assist us, but the effort is not in the way where we are fairly satisfied about.
Tsapo, you're calling us from Tembisa. Good morning.
How are you?
Sharp, Tsapo, go ahead.
Yes. Yeah, my question is that, is there a hotline to report people who are illegal in South Africa or people who have overstayed? Because we know these people. We stay with them in the townships.
Okay. So a hotline or a way where you can report people
you can report illegally. Them.
Okay.
Yes.
And how would you know that, Tsapo? Is it people you've had conversations with? Or is it
there's people that we know, there's people we stay with, yes. The person
they
came.
Talk about it.
Yeah, they talk about it that ungene as if he's a visitor, then before you know it, they're here for more than 5 years.
Okay. Tsapo in Tembisa, thank you so much for that. I'll get the commissioner to respond to that. Here are some WhatsApp voice notes that have also come through.
Morning, Clement. I hope you're well and happy festive. You know, the number that you're given there of people who were caught or without passport or any documents to allow them to be in SA, those are the people who don't have money, my friend. Now, I can tell you now, I'm a bold driver. I carry these people every day. I can carry somebody who goes to the border, who comes back and says, I'm from the border. I just returned there. But apparently, that person was deported. He turned from the border, paid whatever he had to pay. He's coming back. Same day, not tomorrow, no, same day. He paid whatever he needs to pay there. So whoever is returned or whoever is arrested, it's because they don't have money to pay. I agree with the last guy that says there's nothing they are doing there. Clement, there's nothing they are doing there. They're taking money and that's it. Migrant.
Clement, they must arrest the officials. They must make sure they put somebody in there entrap the officials. They are the ones who are making this thing to go ahead. Zandi in Pretoria.
Clement, this issue for corruption at the border. If you see the buses that they're coming from Malawi, they've got a depot in Randburg. You'll be shocked. People, they don't have proper document. They're completely people, they just come without proper document. As long as you have money, you manage to reach here. So yeah, the corruption is in another level at the border.
Yeah, thank you for your voice notes. Yeah, Commissioner, if there's anything specific you want to respond to, but there was a question from Tsepo who is asking where to report people they know are here illegally, that they live within their communities.
Yeah, no, thanks, Clement. Maybe on that particular one, let me confirm that I do not necessarily have the number at hand. That is for the Department of Home Affairs Immigration Inspectorate. As I have said, that work is not a border management authority work. We do not have the mandate to operate inside the country. We operate at 71 ports and we operate 10 kilometers from the borderline. So we don't work inside. Inside is the Immigration Inspectorate. And I suppose they should be having a number. I don't have it. That is the number that will be called in case you have people or you see people that are or that have overstayed in the country that might need to be intercepted, taken to Lindela, and ultimately been deported. So that I don't have. However, we do have the BMA hotline, but mainly that one we use it for the colleagues or for the people to report officials that are corrupt, which basically lead me into the three WhatsApp voice notes that you have. You see, Clement, honestly speaking, and I want to be very much honest, it becomes very much frustrating if people are going to say everybody there is corrupt and everybody what is corrupt and all of that, because it makes things difficult. Hence, I'm saying, if indeed they are able, and by the way, let me also say, more than 53 officials had been fired in the BMA on the basis of dealing with issues of corruption. So we are very much intolerant of corrupt tendencies. And on that basis, we are very much harsh. Should an individual be found to have facilitated illegal immigration? And by the way, again, with the assistance of the drones, we've been able to arrest 114 facilitators. That includes exactly this person who says he's driving Bolt and is facilitating illegal migration. Once you come to the port and you basically go there, you work with facilitators to drive around into the country people without documents, you are facilitating illegal migration yourself. We will have to get you arrested. We will charge you for aiding and abetting. We have actually charged over 114 individuals. And that happened with the taxi drivers and some people driving small vehicles. Some of them were facilitating them through the bushes and were able to pick them up through the drones, mainly in Beitbridge and Libombo, as well as on the Maseru side. So what I'm trying to say, Clement, is it becomes frustrating when the colleagues are just generalizing and not necessarily be very specific. We have given them a platform where they can anonymously report corrupt officials so that we can be able to deal with the issues.
Yeah. What about new technology? You've mentioned the body-worn cameras, but does technology-driven tools, whether it's drones or surveillance system, are you using those, and are they helping in strengthening detection and reducing corruption?
Yes, indeed, Clement. We are actually using drones. The only problem we have, and I think it is something that is well publicized, is the issue around capacity of the authority, but also even capacity in terms of the tools of trade. We do have the drones. And by the way, the drones are AI empowered, able to pick up human body temperature, even if it's in the middle of the night, even if the person is hiding behind the bushes and all of those. So it's a high-tech technology that we have. But because we don't have enough of that, we are not able to optimally utilize all of this. You will remember, for example, in April, when we deployed the drones for the first time, we were able to intercept almost, I suppose it was almost 15,000 individuals in a period of 10 days. And it was on the basis of the drones that we actually deployed. in the 3 critical ports, just in the 3, which is Maseru, Lebombo, and Beitbridge. Now, we do have the technology, and that is the technology I was saying, Clement, to say it assists us to see people even from the other side, in other words, from the neighboring country, when they used to exit the bus and go to the bush and allow the bus driver with few people to come in, be processed so that they can connect back to the bus on the South African side. We've been able to deal with that. So if the colleagues are saying there are, in other words, those things are continuing, they must be able to tell us how. For example, when the bus arrives on the North Gate in Beitbridge, every passenger gets out of the bus. They get screened from health-wise, and their passport get checked at the gate level. And there are 4 different points of check by different individuals before they arrive at the immigration counter to be processed. So if we say there is somebody who gets bribed along that particular value chain, and the accountability matrix is very clear, Clement, to say if an individual is found at the 3rd level of check, who without document, the other teams along the value chain must account as to how did that person arrive there. So hence I'm saying, if we talk Beitbridge in particular, because we have done a lot of investment in that particular space, there is even a new port commander there that we have actually appointed. Things are done more differently. But if colleagues, what they're saying in these WhatsApp groups or in the WhatsApp calls, they are talking latest issues, I will definitely need to be assisted as to how, so that we can deal with the challenge, Clement.
All right. Dr. Mike Masiapato, thank you so much for speaking to us, and all the best with the work you have to do as the Border Management Authority during this peak period for you guys. It's 3 minutes now before 11 o'clock.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
You're finally taking your long-awaited break.
You're going to see your family.
And you're saying goodbye for now
to your 9 to 5.
But you don't have to say goodbye to your favorite talk station.
This
festive season, 702 will keep playing your favorite songs,
having engaging conversations,
and keeping you entertained. So, make sure to sit back,
relax,
and walk the talk with us this festive season.
Download the Prime Media Plus app to make sure you don't miss a single conversation.
Happy holidays
from 702.
You may not love the Secret Santa gift that you get at work, but OUTsurance could have some amazing savings or cash that you love. Get a quote today, and if OUTsurance can't beat your car insurance premium, ask them for 500 Rand cash. Make that 1,500 Rand cash if you've been claim-free and with the same insurer for 3 years. Get OUTsurance festive savings or cash. SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. A licensed insurer and FSP. T's and C's online.
Progress builds, it moves, and it has a partner. That partner is Anglo American. Together, we're building progress where it matters most across South Africa, with a 1 billion Rand investment into education in our host communities, 1.6 billion Rand in deals facilitated through our Impact Finance Network, and 25.9 billion Rand invested through our Kumba Iron Ore business into areas such as infrastructure development, healthcare, community upliftment, and more. Proving that when collaboration is real, progress moves faster. South Africa has a partner. Anglo American. Mining potential, building beyond.
Giant steps for mankind have never been very comfortable.
Houston, can I get an ETA? Over.
Still 3 days, 17 hours to landing. Over.
Until now. Take a giant leap forward for mankind in the new C10 range-extending EV with heated seats, surround view camera, and a 970-kilometer range. Visit leapmotor.net to book a test drive today. Leap Motor, the next step.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. Annual consumer price inflation dropped marginally to 3.5% in November, down from 3.6% in October. This is the second time year-on-year inflation has slowed after the only other drop in March. Stats SA released the latest consumer price print today. Chief Director for Price Statistics, Patrick Kelly, says annual inflation cooled in 5 of the 13 product categories.
The biggest slowdowns were in transport, recreation, sport and culture,
and information and communication. 4 categories registered no change, while we noted higher rates of change for food and non-alcoholic beverages, restaurants and accommodation services, and alcoholic beverages and tobacco.
The Home Affairs Department has confirmed the arrest of 7 Kenyan nationals who have purportedly been processing refugee applications for United States asylum seekers. The department says they are in the country illegally after earlier visa applications for them to perform this particular job were denied. The arrests were made at an undisclosed site in Johannesburg yesterday after the department received a tip-off of illegal work being carried out. Minister Leon Schreiber has clarified that no United States official was arrested during the operation. Lindsay Dentlinger reports.
The Department of Home Affairs says yesterday's arrest of Kenyan nationals were part of a routine and lawful operation with other arms of law enforcement. When the United States introduced its refugee program for Afrikaners earlier this year, it had applied for work visas to second Kenyan staff linked to its refugee program through the organization Church World Service to process the applications. Home Affairs denied the visas. It has since emerged that these staffers entered South Africa on tourist visas instead. Home Affairs Minister Leon Schreiber says the staff have been issued with deportation orders and will be prohibited from entering South Africa for the next 5 years.
No U.S. officials were arrested in the process, the operation was not conducted at a diplomatic site, and no members of the public or prospective refugees were harassed.
Schreiber says the operation was carried out according to the same procedures that have seen Home Affairs dramatically intensify deportations over the past 18 months. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News.
It's emerged that DJ Waris opened a protection order against several individuals a week before his murder. The DJ, whose real name was Warwick Stock, was shot in the Johannesburg CBD in broad daylight yesterday. It's understood that the protection order involved 5 people who were living at a previously hijacked building called Zambezi in the city centre. Oren Singh reports.
Johannesburg's MMC for Community Safety, Mqini Chwaku, says Warwick Stock had a protection order granted against 5 people. The individuals, whose identities are unknown at this stage, were reportedly living at a hijacked building called Zambezi, where Stock was managing the security. Stock's company, Elite VIP, secured the security contract. Chwaku told EWN that there were genuine threats against Stock's life by those listed in the protection order. The protection order was a week old. Stock was shot at least 4 times while leaving the building yesterday. Arun Singh, Eyewitness News.
And Tourism Minister Patricia de Lille says plans are in place to address safety concerns for tourists in major destinations this festive season. This follows travel advisory bans from several countries, including Canada and the US, warning their citizens about crime hotspots in South Africa. Domestic tourists have also not been spared from a spike in crime, especially in parts of Cape Town and Joburg during the peak season. De Lille says additional security measures will be in place during the December break.
We regret the attack on any visitor, local or international. So what we have done is that the Department of Tourism, we made available about 202 tourism monitors to the Border Management Authority, but they are being deployed at various ports of entry. Last week we deployed 40 at OR Tambo. So safety is a concern for all of us.
Gold is trading at $4,339.46 an ounce. The rand is at 16.75 to the dollar, 22.42 to the pound, 19.64 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $59.77 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N3 North between Van Buren Road and the Gilulis interchange. While travelling towards Melrose on the Marquand North, be on the lookout for an accident reported right after Glenhove Road. It's causing delays. And there's also slow-moving traffic heading towards Amalgam along the M2 West between the Crown interchange and Main Reef Road.
A fine day in store for Gauteng, becoming cloudy later with scattered showers and thunder showers expected. The temperatures will peak at highs between 25 and 27 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour, annual consumer inflation or consumer price inflation dropped marginally to 3.5% in November, down from 3.6% in October.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
You're with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
Let's walk the talk. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7 and 106 FM.
Six minutes after 11 o'clock. Dumelang, welcome to the third and final hour of the Clement Manyathela Show. It's great that you've stayed with us here on 702. Thank you very much. Time now for our Listener's Choice feature.
Burning questions.
insightful answers
Listener's Choice.
with Clement Manyathela.
So on our Listener's Choice feature today, we're discussing scams and fraud that you should be looking out for this festive season. And of course, scams and fraud are no longer isolated incidents. They've become quite a daily reality for many South Africans. WhatsApp messages often claim to be from banks or police officers. You're dealing with fake job offers as well, investment opportunities that are fake, and tax-related scams. You know, criminals are constantly adopting their tactics and exploiting fear. They exploit urgency and financial pressure. And what makes this even more concerning is that anyone can be targeted, regardless of your age, regardless of your income or level of education. And as this festive season is upon us, tax deadlines and tough economic conditions actually create fertile ground for these scammers. So it's more important than ever right now for you to understand what to look out for and how to protect yourself. And that's where organizations like the Southern African Fraud Prevention Service plays a critical role, not only in helping to prevent fraud and identity theft, but also in educating consumers and sounding the alarm on emerging scam trends. How do you guard yourself against fraud and scams, especially during this part of the year? Please share your tips with us on 011-883-0702. And maybe you, unfortunately, have been one of those that have been scammed during this period. How did it happen for you? And what advice do you have for other people so that others can be aware of those scams? You can send your WhatsApps as well on 072-702-1702. Have you been a victim of a scam or fraud? And how did you deal with it? Manny van Skalkwyk is with the Southern African Fraud Prevention Services, the CEO there at the Southern African Fraud Prevention Services. Manny, thank you so much for making time for us. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement, and thank you for inviting me to your show.
Yeah, maybe let's start with just a brief explanation of what Southern African Fraud Prevention Services mission is and how does it help South Africans protect themselves from these scams and fraud?
Okay, well, the SAFPS, as we know it, has been established about 25 years ago as a not-for-profit organization by the banks and the retailers. And it's an organization where the banks and retailers list fraudsters that are trying to defraud the bank. So if somebody is, stealing somebody else's identity book, or they are changing their bank statements or their pay slips or something like that to get a loan, that's when they will find themselves listed on this database. But soon after that, two other very important functions started where we realized that, people lose their handbag, and the fraudsters then open accounts in their name on their ID book because their ID book was in the handbag. And so we started a victim of identity theft listings, and then we also provided an additional layer of protection for consumers by providing protective registration. And those two last services are free of charge to the consumers. And about 5 years ago, we started an organization called HIMA, Y-I-M-A, HIMA, which says takes it slow, take it slower. And that is specifically to do with scams, because we see scams a little bit different from fraud. And scams are where I usually say it's the art of convincing people. So it's the art of convincing you, you and I, that the person on the other end of the line, he says he's from the bank, but he's actually a fraudster, and he wants you to divulge your information to him. So it's the art of convincing you. So that is what we see as scams. And those hima.org.za is a website that helps consumers as a scam management tool, where you can see the latest trends. You'll be able to register scams if you've been scammed. You can see what are the new trends, and it provides you with free tools to download. If you are standing on a
Let's talk about those new trends. How has the landscape of fraud and identity theft in South Africa evolved over the past few years? What are some of the common ways people actually experience that level of fraud?
Yeah. Well, let's talk to fraud first, and then we look at scams. Fraud top categories is fraudulent documents, where individuals change their ID or they steal somebody else's identity. We're trying to make changes to the identity by removing a photograph. And the other one, which I think is more important, is we're seeing a significant increase in money mules. So what is a money mule, people could ask? And that is if you let somebody else use your bank account. So the syndicates will usually target you because they realize there's a lot of technology out there to authenticate people. They will target you and they will pay you to make use of your bank account. And that seems to is growing exponentially. But money there is used for terrorism. We see human trafficking. A lot of research was done globally on money mules, and that is what the money is used for. So those two, I think, is the top categories as fraudulent documents and money mules. If we speak to scams, I think the top of the list is what we call vishing, but not to get worried about the terms, but that is where people phone you to say they're phoning from the bank and there's fraud on your account, and that you need to urgently provide them with your banking details so that they can stop the fraud going forward. Or they will send you a link. Most importantly, that's what the major modus operandi is. They'll send you a link to stop the fraud or to move the money into a new bank account so it's safe. And if you push that link, you will authorize actually the money to move into their bank account. So that is what the top scam we're seeing currently is the vishing scam, where people trying to convince you that they are phoning from the bank.
I see. And so these are some of the particular scams. Are there others that are more sophisticated, though, recently that you are picking up?
I think they're all sophisticated in the sense that they really they getting under your skin. The bigger scams we see beside the one I'm just talking about is investment scams, for instance, where people promise a good return on investment. They show you fake reports. They show you fake newspaper clips, and you believe this, and so you start investing in this. And then I think the most unreported scam, but the most where people lose the most money is in terms of romance scams. And we see that usually now where people start feeling lonely, if people don't have family, they trust people, they feel that they need to, help individuals who's not maybe in a good position. And these fraudsters then convince them that, they love these individuals and they need money to take the child to a hospital, that kind of stuff. So we really see those 3 or 4 scams as the top end, what consumers need to be careful of.
Okay. And then any specific red flags for tax-related or SARS impersonation scams?
Yes, of course. Yeah. We see that more or less over the tax season, where you usually get a notification on WhatsApp and email to say that this is a refund due to you, and you need to click on it and provide your information. The moment you provide that information, your bank account will be emptied in the process.
Yeah, I see. 011-883-0702. The WhatsApp line is 072-702-1702. How do you guard against scams or fraud? Have you been a victim of a scam or fraud? How have you dealt with it? Give us a call or please send a WhatsApp voice note. And Manny, I wonder what advice you have for people that have perhaps they're realizing that or they suspect that they're being targeted by a scam, or they've just been scammed. What's the immediate thing that they should do?
Well, we've launched a wonderful campaign called Just Say Goodbye. And that is really, it is what it says it is. The moment you hear the triggers where people are saying, I'm phoning from a bank and I'm here to help you, and usually very pleasant, and they say there's fraud in your account, and we will assist you in stopping it. So there's a bit of fear, and you need to act now. So there's urgency. And then you need to provide information. And if you don't, they get very aggressive. So those are the kind of emotional levels that they play with you. If you get any of the calls, I would say if you receive any phone call from your bank claiming that they're from the bank, just say goodbye. Just put the phone down. Just put the phone down. Phone your bank on the number that you have. Look at the back of your bank card. There's a number there. Or Google your bank's information and get the number. Don't rely on information that the fraudster will give you. But phone the number that you have and phone and find out from the bank if there's anything going onto your account. 99.9%, nothing. Nothing is going on. So my first suggestion is if you get a phone call from a bank or from a cell phone company that says, we hear somebody is trying to SIM swap your phone and we need you to help with this, well, just put on the phone. Just say goodbye and put on the phone. And phone your supplier, phone the bank, phone the cell phone company and find out what is going on. So that is my advice, 100% on that. On the fraud side, I would say, go to our website on safps.org.za and follow the process there to get a layer of protection on your identity, so that when you apply for credit, that the credit process is stopped, and in that stopping is the security that they will ask you for another, maybe the SAFPS letter, or they'll ask you for another identity document. Or a proof of address or something, but something that the fraudster will not be able to provide to them. So get that protective registration on your name. It's free of charge. It does delay the process, the credit granting process, but it's really to your benefit.
And what about specific victims? Are there specific groups, like whether it's the elderly or the small business owners, students that you've seen are being targeted more frequently?
We see definitely an elderly targeting, especially when it comes to banking issues. I think, the elderly, and I'm speaking to myself being 50 plus, is that people is from a different generation. They may be not as digital savvy as the youngsters are, and they really they prefer if people phone them and speak to them from the bank. But that is what the fraudsters are counting on. So the moment they speak to you or phone you, people of that older generation really trust these individuals, and that is a big problem. So do not trust them. Put down the phone. Just say goodbye.
Yeah. There's some WhatsApps coming through. Let's start here.
Hi, Clement Lefa from Victoria. I have been using Truecaller, and I know that there's some disadvantage with Truecaller in terms of how it gets a hold of some of your personal information, but it has really helped me in terms of being able to identify when an SMS or a call is spam related or a possible scam, and that has kind of helped me kind of evade certain phishing sort of traps, especially one that was like the post office one. I remember that for a while it was going around that, you forgot your package just at the post office, pay this money, and then, your package will be released. So that's what I use. And I just mainly ignore a lot of emails that have clicks in them unless it looks like it's from an official bank. And then with SARS, I'll go onto my profile on the website as opposed to clicking on any emails or SMSs. So yeah, that's what I do. Hi, Clement Lefa.
Good morning, Clement. Good morning, Clement. There is this scam nowadays. Someone just called me last week, and then he said to me, there's someone who's trying to purchase one voucher on my account. So the lady said, for me to prevent that person, I must switch off my phone, and then I must restart my phone, and then open it later, and then and then after 1 minute I said, no, this might be a scam, and then I said, no, I can't do that. So I dropped the phone, and then after that I've called the bank. The bank only verified that was a scam. So it's Donald T. I'm in Tembisa.
Hectic. Mike, you're calling us from Pretoria. Hi.
Yes, Clement. How are you?
Hi, Mike. Sharp, Mike. Go ahead.
Yeah, Clement, the problem with these scams, these guys are very, very sharp. They understand, they know what is going on. I lost almost 100,000 rand, where somebody called me saying that he's from the bank, and the next thing, somebody is trying to buy something from one of the hard stores, and then we need to stop him. The next thing is that company, in fact, the person is actually doing this thing from somewhere in the Western Cape. And the thing is, a week or so back, I was there at the Western Cape. So it became very, very convincing that, somebody is trying to do something with my, my account. Now, the thing is, what are the banks doing about this? Shouldn't the bank, for instance, give me an option as one of their clients that if there's money that needs to move from my account to another bank, I must make that option of saying it must only reflect after 2 days. Why should it be, like, for instance, when I transfer now and it goes out immediately? I should have, that would be an inconvenience on me, on my part, but it's something that I think it would be much better if, to secure my monies. Because if I say this option, when I transfer, it must only show after 2 days or so, that's an option that I must take. And anybody else who doesn't want that option can actually continue with the status quo. But the banks are not doing much to assist us in this regard.
Yeah, let me ask Manny to respond to that, Mike, because that is an issue that's been raised several times. What is the role of banks here? And also, some of these people who are scamming people have got these legitimate business accounts with the banks. Yeah. So you end up paying money into this account, but it's an account with a legitimate bank. What checks and balances are there happening on the side of the banks? Yeah, Manny?
Yes, I think you guys, yourself, Clement and Mike, are asking very relevant questions, especially where Mike is saying that he doesn't want a transfer to happen immediately. He wants a delay on it so that there's time for him to do something about it. And I agree. I do think, and you mentioning that these bank accounts are with legitimate banks and they may be fraudulent accounts. I think they're all very relevant questions. I know that the Reserve Bank is busy with various projects on various ways to see how to curb the scams in South Africa. And I'm sure these these points are in the process of being discussed and to see how to make it more difficult for scammers to scam people in South Africa. But I think it's all very legitimate questions.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think we must demand more from our banks as well. Let's go to some more WhatsApps coming on 072 702 and 702.
This example of being scammed as someone is buying from the Western Cape happened to me exactly like that. And the previous week I'd actually been scammed. And sometimes I think they just target, I don't know how, but they targeted me. And then the guy was trying to help me. And as I was listening to him, then he gave me my email address. And when he gave me a wrong email address, that's where I said to him, listen, I have to take another call. The aggression, Clement, from the guy, because he just would not let off the phone. And I tried to say no, he was so aggressive. Eventually, I hung up, I called my bank. It was a scam, collecting Johannesburg.
Yeah. Can you please repeat for us, Manny, the YIMA scam prevention toolbox? Someone else is asking, how they can use it to protect themselves and report fraud. Can you just explain how it works again so that our listeners can take advantage of that to protect themselves?
Totally. You go to yima.org.za and you will see the toolbox there. You can click on the specific products you have or you want. So you can download an extension onto your laptop or your cell phone that if you are on a fraudulent email website, that it warns you to say this website is questionable, get off. It provides you with if you would just need a tool to once off verify a website, it rates the websites for you to say this one looks suspicious or this one is fine. So there are various free of charge products that you can use to help yourself. I just want to get back then, and sorry, to the previous calls. She said the scammer provided some information to her and she realized when the information was wrong that this was a scammer. I think that is a very important point. And because especially people sometimes provide the correct information and they get that information from the data breaches that we see in the country. So when people provide you with information like an email address which is correct maybe, or a telephone number which is correct, or a suburb where you live, that is what they stole in a data breach. And they are very quick to do that, so to try to give you satisfaction that they are from a bank, as they would provide you with some details, but they don't have all the information, and that is the problem. So people kind of gain trust in the individual because they give you the correct email address, or they provide you with the last 4 digits of your credit card, or your ID, that kind of information. So because they stole some of that information, I think it's very legitimate to say, even if they provide you with some of the information and that information is correct, just say goodbye. Don't trust them.
Hi, Clement and the team. My question to your guest is, what recourse do we have as consumers in a situation where scammers hack the institution like a bank and later utilize the information which they hacked from the bank to scam its consumers? David.
Yeah, Manny?
Yeah. I'm not sure. That should be maybe going to the regulator, the information regulator, on the, what kind of penalties there are. But I think if you as an individual click on links or provide information, and that information is then used to clear your bank account, you've got very little recourse because you kind of enabled that whole process.
Yeah. Manny, thank you so much for all the tips that you've managed to share with us. I really appreciate it. Manny van Schalkwyk is the CEO at the Southern African Fraud Prevention Services. Be careful out there. It's 11:30. Bali has the latest in Eyewitness News headlines. Good morning.
Thanks, Clement. Good morning. Annual consumer price inflation dropped marginally to 3.5% in November, down from 3.6% in October. This is the second time that year-on-year inflation has slowed after the only other drop in March. Stats SA released the latest consumer price print today. Johannesburg Metro Police are expected to meet with the man that slain DJ Warris allegedly spoke to last. The media personality, whose real name was Warwick Stock, was shot in Joburg CBD yesterday. Stock was with a security team that was looking to install a biometric system at an apartment building. And the Home Affairs Department has confirmed the arrests of 7 Kenyan nationals. The group was apprehended for allegedly processing refugee applications for United States asylum seekers. The department says they are in the country legally after earlier visa applications for them to perform this job were denied. Those are the headlines. This EWN and more at midday or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Travelling on the N3 North, we've got delays between Van Buren Road and the Glulies interchange. There's also queuing traffic on the N12 and the R24 West between Edenville Road and the Glulies turnoff. Please be on the lookout there while travelling on the M1, or rather the M2 West. We still have got bumper-to-bumper delays. This is between the Crown interchange and Main Reef Road. Crownwood Road is also backed up along with Albertton Sisulu Road. That's in the Mayfair as well as Amalgam areas. So please approach with care if you're traveling around those areas. In the city of Tshwane, we've got some delays on the N14 South approaching Euphus Road. But the good news is that accident scene we spoke about earlier on the N1 South has been cleared. Traffic is now flowing. And that's your last traffic update from me, Amo Ramela. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
The Sharing Space
on the Clement Manyathela Show.
702.
11:32, time for the Sharing Space. This is where we take things a little easy on the show and we share our stories. Whatever story that you want to share with us, you can send us an email on cm@702.co.za. Perhaps it's something that happened at work, in your car while driving home, maybe something that piqued your interest, maybe something you thought about when you were at the gym or that you saw when you were at the gym. It's any story that you want to share with us. Some of you often share stories because you want advice from our listeners, but so what we'll do now is we'll play a voice note of a story we got from our listener, and then afterwards we're going to go to your calls and your WhatsApps. If it's something you've experienced, if it's something you're dealing with as well, share your experience with us. How have you dealt with it? And if the listener is asking for advice, please be kind enough to give them that. Here we go.
Good morning to you, Clement, and your listeners. I'm a 32-year-old woman. I live with my partner currently in Johannesburg. Clement, I need some advice because I've been noticing a pattern. Right, so basically me and my partner have been dating for at least 3 years now, and each December it's become so stressful since then because my partner and I have completely different ideas of what a proper December should look like. For example, for him, in December, he's all about going big, traveling home, hosting both friends and family surprise every weekend, most that kind of vibe, eating out, the busy one, and making sure everyone is enjoying themselves. But for me, December is all about slowing down, especially this year, Clement. It's been such a very, very tough year. Even mine is also a bit tight, and work has been so draining, and there's been a lot happening in my life and also with my mental health that all I want to do is just have a quiet break where we just rest and also make sure that we don't start the new year in debt. Now, the problem is whenever now I start to raise my concerns to him, it's as if maybe I'm killing the vibe or, like the party pooper, or I'm being negative. Usually I get told that I'm being negative or boring or that I don't really like people. Meanwhile, I feel like at the same time, my needs financially and emotionally are being completely ignored here. And so we end up arguing even like silly basic stuff like how many events we attend or how much we spend on groceries and outings, things that we're not really supposed to be arguing about. And so I need advice as to, since how do couples in December compromise when the one person, for example, is more outgoing, they want celebration, they want the noise, they want the vibe, and the other one just wants peace and quiet, simple stuff. How do you also sort of stop December from turning into a yearly relationship fight? Because that's where I'm at now, and it's really, really frustrating, Clement.
Oh, yeah, I hear you. Okay, couples out there, if you are coupled up, if you are partnered up, you are married up, how do you deal with the different approaches to December? Huh? Because I think that's really at the core of what Anonymous is saying. She's 32 years old, lives with their partner. They may or may not be married. And there seems to be disagreement around how to approach this festive season. She believes that it's been a busy year and she really just wants a relaxed holiday. No busyness of going out, hosting people, going to people's brides too much. She feels she just wants to relax, whereas the husband or partner is more like, no, we need a party, we need to go out, we need to host people, like lots of energy, and she wants to rest. And I get it in a way, because I'm just thinking here, how do couples often deal with that? Because there's always going to be, of course, disagreements or different approaches to things. This one, during this festive season, how do you guys find a balance? Are you a type of couple that likes going out? So do you go out a lot during this time? Is it a time for you to connect, as a couple or as a family with the kids? Is it the time to go to the village or to go to visit the grandparents or grandmother, great-grandparents? What is this opportunity for you? And in cases where you're not feeling what the next partner wants to do, how do you handle it? I mean, there are some women who don't want to go by Kotisa during this time of the year. They don't want to go to their in-laws because they know how busy that's going to be for them. And as a man, you may not get that, because if she comes with you and you're going to your home, you are not the one that's doing the chores. She is the one that's supposed to, quote unquote, impress. So how do you balance the two? Do you go maybe for a day or two and then come back? Or is that like a non-negotiable? December time means we're going back home, we're going to be with the in-laws, or the in-laws are coming here. Are there specific rules that you have agreed on with your spouse or your partner around the December period? So whether you are tired or not, you had a hectic year, this is how we do it in this household. Give us a call on 011-883-0702. Anonymous is asking you, how do you balance this? If you've got some advice for her, or maybe especially for some of you that have been partnered up and coupled up and married for a number of years, you already know how to handle situations like this. Give us a call on 011-883-0702. WhatsApp's on 072-702-1702.
Hi, I'm in grade 6 at Crawford International, and I'm already building my future. At Crawford, we don't just learn, we prepare for the world ahead. By grade 10, I can choose from a range of subjects in any combination. With experienced teachers, amazing extracurriculars, and AI-driven support, I'm set up to excel in everything, from maths to public speaking. Book your personalized tour. Crawford International, building global leaders.
You are the poster child, the biggest saver we've ever had.
I decided that I would contact our children and let them work out what they could do for me.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, big saving. 2,794 Rand a month.
That's over 33,000 Rand a year.
And it was the easiest switch ever. Real people helping real people get real deals.
Go to outsurance.co.za now for a 10-minute quote that could save you thousands.
What does you always get something out mean to you, Lorette?
Alttunes made it possible for us to live our dream to travel more with the money in our pocket that we save.
Let me know, what is it?
725. It was unbelievable. My husband, he sits there on the chair and he's just nodding his head and say, yes, yes, yes. This is really not just an advertisement. This is really real.
Go to outsurance.co.za now for a 10-minute quote that could save you thousands. Licensed insurer and FSP. T's, C's and information online.
Who says everyday driving can't be très chic? Rent premium with Sani Sixt now. Own the stylish Citroen C3 later. Yes, that's 3 cars, 3 months, 3 chances to say ooh la la. Just book directly on sani.co.za. Call us or rent at any branch between 1 November and 31 January, and you're automatically entered into the draw. Bon voyage with Sani Sixt and win. T's and C's apply.
This week, 702 was in conversation with Cell C, and they told us more about their recent JSE listing.
I think we're leading the pack when it comes to our MVNO strategy. We're going after market segments with very good partners. We've done so intentionally and deliberately. We're probably the only partner that has done so intentionally and deliberately. If we want to go after a particular segment, we could either build the proposition ourselves and give it a name and fund it, or you partner very deeply with the kind of partners that we have and you get to that market segment quite quickly. And given our P&L structure, so we don't have no capex, we just capex light. We still spend between 650 and 800 million is the guidance we've given on systems, etc., that are largely customer facing. We've revamped 70 stores. So the money goes into the customer facing stuff. But we do believe that we've got a really good positioning for the market, albeit with very strong competition.
Cell C is now listed on the JSE. Switch to C. Switch to Cell C.
The Sharing Space
on the Clement Manyathela Show.
702.
18 minutes before 12 o'clock. What do you do when it's December time and your husband or wife or partner doesn't really feel like being festive because they've had a tough year, or they don't feel like coming with you back to the village or back to their in-laws, your family, or they don't want to go to their family, they just want to chill and have a relaxed one? How do you balance that, especially when you're living with other people? That's the conundrum that Anonymous finds herself in, how to balance that and how to compromise, because husband wants busyness all the way. Let's do a braai, let's go out for a drink and all that. And she's more like, let's take it easy a bit. Patrick, you're calling us from Pretoria. Good morning.
How's it, Clement? How are you doing?
I'm all right, Patrick. How do you guys do it do this?
Yeah, so I think one thing that we're not really good at, especially as, I'll say it, I'm a black guy, right, married to a black lady. Yeah. And typically come festive, and it's not only December, it could even be Easter or any time that you're on leave, right? Especially as a couple, if you're taking leave at the same time or on holiday at the same time, which is typically your Easter and December time. What typically happens is that you get to December, then all of a sudden, it becomes very random, and one thing we haven't, I think, been very good at is managing that randomness. And what we've done in my family is almost by September, August, September, we already have a plan for what is going to happen in December from the day we take leave, right? And I think marriage is about being accountable to one another, because I need to manage an expectation, coming from my better half, my wife, and she needs to manage that expectation from me as well. So there are things she likes and there are things I like, right? And then, already, halfway through the year, we already know what's going to happen in December. We are accountable for it. We've made our bookings as well. For example, if I like camping, my wife likes a hotel or whatever it is that she likes, we've already accounted for those days, right? And it's a balance. But typically, I think randomness tends to cause this, I'm not sure what the English word for it, disharmony. I'll use the word disharmony. Whenever we're random. And I think the real answer here is being prepared for the time when it comes, so that
So
the
plan
expectation
ahead.
Yes, planning is very
got it.
important at work. In anything that we do,
Yeah.
random, we tend to have more fights.
I get it. Yeah. Okay, I get it. Patrick in Pretoria, thank you. Khosi Amang, you're in Roodepoort. Good morning.
Hi, morning, Clement. Look,
Hey, Tzara.
I believe really that it is about compromise. People are not the same. It doesn't matter who says what. If she has her preferences and I have my preferences, that makes us different. But the bottom line here is that we need to let it flow, let it unfold. As much as it is that season that she, Anonymous, doesn't really consider, a season that has to be hectic. She wants it to be a season to relax, and he doesn't want to. But what she says is that her key concern is finances coming to January into outside this season. But I am saying, let it unfold. The idea is not to quarrel, argue as less as possible. Try to compromise, really, because that's how he feels and you feel this way. Your concerns are real. I believe before she knows it, it will be over. It is that season of joy. As much as, yes, she will not have much joy because of this issue, but some compromise is needed so that you can get over this phase. The reality is that people approach it differently. It is a short phase, by the way. Before we know it, it's just 2 weeks, it will be over. So that's really my advice to her. Let it unfold. Go a little bit with the flow. Be tough where you have to be tough. Try to see where you can compromise, where you can save on your side. Try as well to punt here and there to say, can we at least not do 1, 2, and do this and that,
3,
so
4.
that you can really go through the process. Before she knows it, it will be over. And I want to say to her, trust me, she's not alone. I'm one of those people.
Yeah, got you. Khosi Amang in Roodepoort, thank you for your call. Here are some WhatsApp voice notes.
Clement 782. I think mostly families and partners, they avoid their own personal issues or personal enrichment by clouding themselves with functions, events, and people to an extent that they can't stand each other or being alone. So you see, this listener, she needs that time maybe for herself and for the partner, for them to connect, to do things that she wants to do without just having to go around and sometimes even pretend to be all hyper. Well, that's not who you are, or that's not what you want at that current space.
You're not feeling
Clement, now for me, it's a great opportunity to see everyone, old friends, family that you hardly see them. If you have a chance, you go there. You've got families that you have never seen maybe in the past 5 years, all those things. This is the best time because everyone is back at home in the villages. Because even when we are here in Gauteng, we don't even visit each other. It's difficult, it's rough. So when we are home, at least you don't have to make a lot of effort to see someone that we have not seen in a long time. Because you are around, you are local. Thank you, bye.
Good morning, Clement and your team. It's Andrew Palane. What we normally do with my partner is just that we sit down, we plan together, and from the financial perspective, we also treat December as a normal month. So we plan together, and But what I'm picking up here from the lady who just sent the voice note is that they're not playing together. Their plans are independent, hence they are forever fighting. But if they can sit down and plan together from the financial point of view, everything will go well. They will avoid fights and all of that. But what I'm picking up is that their plans are independent. They are not one, they are not united. Until they're united, there will be forever fight when it comes to December. Because, you cannot fight over December, just over a 1 month thing. So plan together, guys. Sit down, plan together, and you will never go wrong. Thank you.
Good morning, Clement. Regarding your the lady just sent a message about her partner wanting to party up and to party, and then she just wants to relax. What I see is that the problem is that this relationship, the problem started at the foundational phase. They never communicated with each other as to what is it that they want at certain times of the year. It is not that her husband is selfish, no. The problem is that they never communicated with each other as to what is it that they want, what is it that they prefer, what is it that doesn't make them happy. And that's where the problem started. Because from what I see right now, it doesn't seem as if this relationship can be saved.
I mean, are we already there? I mean, I just feel like this as a hurdle that they just need to figure out. And I think I'm glad a lot of you are mentioning compromise, because it really does take compromise, right? On the WhatsApp line, Lungi in Swakopmund in Namibia says, "Hey Clement, ish marriage and partner life, shame. When you hear such stories, you really appreciate the space of single land. That being said, vision is critical when two people are united, because every event gets evaluated against the vision and the goals of the union. Any deviation should prompt both parties to re-evaluate. Now she is the only one actively seeking a solution to this scenario, yet the partner seems comfortable in his own space and happenings. They both need to work together to find a solution that meets both their needs." Yeah, Lungi, I agree with you. In fact, the partner can't also just say, "Yeah, but it's December, I just want to have lots of fun." As much as she must accommodate him and be able to compromise and do some of the fun things with him, he must also be able to compromise and say, "Okay, cool, we can do all the other things, but maybe we're not going to host, or we're going to limit that we have 6 invitations to brides and parties, will only do 3. You know, what's his compromise? I think that's going to be important as well.
Hi, Clem, Mike in Orange Grove. You know, the most important thing is to plan these things ahead of time. I'm picking an element whereby nothing was planned, and then come to December, then you are deciding what to do. If you had spoken about these things from the beginning of the year or during the course of the year, that, hey, for Festive, what do we intend to do? Then you can do all of those things. You see those things gelling up together, the ideas gelling up together, you know. But if you don't plan anything, also, again, it's an element of planning. That's when you see that there's always that challenge that come to December, this one is deciding to do that, this one is deciding to go away, and so forth and so forth. Then we have situations like this, like that of clashing. And setting up your goals for the year or for the year ahead. If seriously the funds are not gelling up, both of you should know, and both of you know that you need to cut down on this and that and that. Because mind you, December holiday, most of the time, maximum, it might be 3 weeks. If you are opening late around 13 January and you close work around 15 or so forth, you know, or 19, you know. So it's about planning. That's what I see here. You plan your things ahead of time. That helps you out at the end of the day not to have issues and fights in December. Thanks.
Yeah, no, got it. It's going up to 6 minutes before 12.
If you think you cannot afford a lawyer, think again. Clientele Legal has made professional legal services affordable. You receive up to 745,000 Rand worth of legal services per year. Our range of plans include cover for you, your spouse, children, and extended family. Plans include cover for civil, criminal, and labor-related matters. Whether it's protection orders, gender-based violence, uncontested divorce, or poor service, your Clientele Legal lawyer will be there to assist you. Our services are convenient. Simply pick up the phone and call your lawyer, or send us an email and we'll get back to you. All plans include a bail benefit of up to 5,000 Rand, and we'll go to the police station and pay it for you. Plus, Clientele Legal offers you 24-hour telephonic legal advice. SMS Legal to 48721. That's legal to 48721. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
At Checkers, we do more so you get extra this Christmas. With festive savings like Coca-Cola Original Taste Less Sugar Soft Drink 2 litres, 3 for 65 Rand. And Easy Carve Boneless Gammon for 124.99 per kilo. Plus, stand a chance to win your share of 7 million Rand in prizes. Simply buy any 3 qualifying products and swipe your extra savings card to enter. Valid until Sunday at Checkers, Checkers Hyper or shop on 6060. T&Cs apply.
The Money Show.
Weekday evenings at 6.
Some news from our wine industry. It looks like they've had good conditions over the period. They're expecting a strong harvest this year. Wandile Seklobo is chief economist at the Agricultural Business Chamber of South Africa.
Taste and quality, Stephen, when it comes to wine matters. And this time around, because we had this intense heat and nice rains at our appropriate time, it turns out that the maturation of the grapes have actually been excellent and the volume of cores has been good.
The Money Show
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
The Money Show with Stephen Curtis is brought to you by ABSA CIB, accelerating infrastructure-led growth and economic resilience through the South African National Treasury's 11.8 billion Rand Infrastructure and Development Finance Bond. ABSA is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
Unwind.
Relax.
Enjoy.
All right, it's 4 minutes now before 12 o'clock. As you have heard since last week, we've been ending the show with a song. So here is today's selection from Chronicle Deep. And that's how we wrap up the Wednesday edition of the Clement Manyathela Show. Up next is the Midday Report with Mandy Wiener. How are you doing, Mandy?
Yo, it's a vibe here on the Clement Manyathela Show, hey?
Always a vibe. It's December. Good December, boss. What's popping today?
We'll bring you the latest on the police investigation into DJ Warris's murder. The Public Works Minister is busy giving an update on the KZN temple collapse. Lots of interesting details coming out there. The Home Affairs Department says it conducted a standard immigration operation at a U.S. refugee center. This is to do with the Kenyans that were employed there, and the U.S. is very upset, saying Americans were apprehended. The preliminary preliminary Madlanga Commission report is due to be handed to the presidency today. And Clem, inflation numbers are out. Inflation easing to 3.5% in November.
All right, that's the midday report coming up with Mandy Wiener. Thank you for listening to the Wednesday edition of the Clement Manyathela Show. We'll be back again with you tomorrow between 9 and 12. Have a beautiful day, my friends. Bye-bye.
This is EWN.
Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. Johannesburg Metro Police are expected to meet with the man that slain DJ Warris allegedly last spoke to. The media personality, whose real name was Warwick Stock, was shot in Joburg's CBD yesterday. Stock was